Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Tiffany Red, you could not be here today. I'm joking, you guys. We have Tiffany Red with us. Tiffany Red is one of Cassie's close friends. She actually was around to witness a lot of things with Cassie and Diddy. If you guys need a little bit of refresher, Tiffany Red actually came out and said that Diddy actually traumatized her. She was a confidant of Cassie. She wrote a lot of songs for Cassie. There's a whole story behind that. I don't want to give that away. She is joining us live. I'm bringing her up in one moment. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm bringing her up in one moment. She will be taking questions. Also, you guys do not embarrass me. I swear to God, y'all better not embarrass me, right? She will be taking questions, but the thing that we need to get our heads around is the fact that she actually witnessed Diddy's and Cassie's relationships in real time. And unlike a lot of people that have their own opinions of what happened between Diddy and Cassie's relationship, this is coming directly from a woman, coming from a close friend, and also coming from someone in the industry, not from they were an employee, not that they were a friend of Diddy, but they were actually one of Diddy's players. They were one of Diddy's songwriters. If you guys don't know, Tiffany Red is an accomplished songwriter in her own right. So she gives it to us from perspective that I think has been overlooked in the media. You are an industry veteran. You are respected in the industry. Not only that, you were a close friend to Cassie. You also worked for and with Diddy, and she witnessed some of the most, in my opinion, horrific things. So she's coming to us to give us her perspective, to share what she can. And yes, we'll be taking questions from the live as we go on, but I really do want to get her perspective on the channel. All right, guys. So with no further ado, let's bring up Tiffany Red and let's get right to it. Now, you guys, we'll take questions. Be respectful. I know you guys are, but you know I'm going to jump right into it. So let's get into this. One second. Hi, Tiffany. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey.
This is the beautiful Tiffany Red. I can't get over how gorgeous she is. I love the red, love the look. It's working. Thank you for joining us. Now, listen, I have to dive right into it, okay? You went live on Instagram, I think about a day ago, where you actually gave some information that a lot of people, even myself, had overlooked. If you guys don't know, there was a segment in Cassie's lawsuit where they talk about a friend being held over a balcony. A lot of people assumed that was Wale because there was a funny story going around where some people that were in the studio with Wale accused him of being hung out on the balcony. However, you are saying it was not Wale, that incident at least, the incident that was referred to in Cassie's lawsuit. Can you tell us your recollection of that?
Well, what I can tell you, like I said in the video, is it's a woman. In Cassie's lawsuit, she talks about um, Puff scaring her friends, and I thought it was really important, like in this time, for people to know that it was a woman. You know, because like of the apology, the I wanted people to know the timeline. This was later on that fall, and after the hotel incident. And yeah, it was somebody that was in our friend group. And people always say like, why didn't you guys do this? Why didn't you guys do that? Why didn't you guys do that? And I said in a previous video, like, there were plenty of us who protected her and we paid for it. And that
So
was somebody
let's
who paid
just
for it.
So let's just roll it back, okay? So there's an
Mhm.
incident where there is a young woman. I understand very much so that there are legal things going on in the background, both criminally and also civilly. So we can't really go too much into depth. But there was a woman and she was hung off of a 17th floor balcony. This was a high rise, as I understand it, on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. If you've ever been on Wilshire Boulevard, you know those high rises go up to the sky. So this was the 17th floor. And there was a woman hung over the balcony. When that happened, was there security or other people in the room? Anybody that could intervene in a legitimate way?
No.
And when you say no, there was nobody in the room, security, or nobody that was willing to intervene?
There was no security.
Okay.
And
Okay.
And like, I'm trying to figure out how to like
Well, how about this?
there was no security, and I mean, it was intervened. It was intervened.
Okay, I understand we're talking about this. Why don't we talk about the things we can talk about? What was the feeling in the room when that was happening? How do you remember people reacting to it? Was it pandemonium? Did you think the person was going to fall? What were your thoughts and recollections on that?
Well, so my thoughts on the situation happening. So I just want to be clear. I didn't witness it. I didn't see it. Cassie talked to me about it, and so did the person that it happened to, and people in our friend group. So I wasn't present for that incident, that one specifically, but the feeling, like, once I found out, and just like the feeling around the crew after that happened, I think it's scared.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary. Like, and like, I don't think that people understand what it is like to be in the presence of somebody who has the capability of something like that, who is so insulated, like, who is so protected on so many different levels. Like, it's scary.
When you say that you felt like he was insulated and protected on so many levels, what was your impression of how he was insulated?
Well, he had like security. His security, in my opinion, I personally felt intimidated by his security. Like, my first time interacting with both of them was intimidation, both of them. And so, like, that's the energy. The energy is definitely very, like, it's clear everybody that's there is there for him. It's assistants, it's a chef, it's a stylist, it's security, it's a whole production. So, like, you're always outnumbered.
But when you say you felt, I'm sorry, go on. No, when you say you felt intimidated and you felt like even the security was on some intimidation, I understand that, again, with intimidation, it's not like schoolyards where people are like, knuckling up on you. But how do you think they got that intimidation across?
Well, so on Cassie's 29th birthday, that was the first time I ever met Puff in person. So before I had met him that day, I had only talked to him once, and it was on FaceTime. I was talking to her, and they were together. But so her 29th birthday was the first time that I met him. And it was a surprise birthday party. And there was a moment where it was just him and I, and he just, I introduced myself, and he said, so you're the one she's talking to, huh? Like, you're the one writing these songs about me, huh? And I was like,
but there was an aggressive edge to it.
It was just very, like, it wasn't like, it just was like, he was looking at me in my face very, and then he just, like, walked away. It was just weird. It was awkward, but I felt intimidated, like, him saying specifically, like, you're the one. So he was like, you're the one that's writing all these songs about me. And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, so she's talking to you, huh? That's what he said.
Oh, wow.
Was like, and then I said, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was scared as fuck. My heart was like, but he just, and then he walked away. And then, like, not too long after that, or maybe it was later that evening, I can't remember, like, timeline, but at the party, one of his security people walked up to me and was like, it's nice to meet you, Tiffany. And I was like, who are you? And he was like, I've heard a lot about you. And I was just
Mhm.
like, you know what it just was very
Yeah,
like, I never even met
they
you to
weren't.
walk up to me.
Yeah.
It was weird. And then when we left, I remember, I want to say it was the security guard's wife, I think, just
Mhm.
hovering around us the whole night. Like our friend group, like Cass didn't want to be there. Her and Puff were fighting like during
Mhm.
this time. So like it was really more so putting on for the cameras. It was a lot of people there. It was, filmed and stuff like that. And but she wanted to go to Blind Dragon. She wanted to go karaoke. And so we were all talking about leaving, and there were like a lot of people from his team trying to discourage us from leaving, trying to like find out where we were going. And like including the security's wife. It was weird. I just was like, what is this? This was like my first time experiencing all this. I just was like, why are they tracking us like this? Like we've been here all day. It's
Mhm.
nighttime. We want to go karaoke and have fun with our friends. You know what I'm saying? So we left and we went anyway.
Mhm.
And he followed us there. He followed us there. And that's the night that I write about in my in that essay that I did for Rolling Stone, where I'm like, those were like, so he after we left and I saw like how weird everyone was being about us leaving, when he showed up to Blind Dragon, it just felt like the air got sucked out the room. It was so crazy just watching everyone fold. Everybody. Soon as
So
Go
let's
ahead.
slow this down. I have a few
Yeah.
questions. So let's slow this down. I have some questions about at the party, but we're at Blind Dragon. So
Mhm.
uh, you said the energy just got sucked out the room. It was like a vacuum. So you guys are karaoke, right? Singing
Yeah.
like, your
Having
favorites,
fun.
right? Trying to see,
Yeah.
yeah, having fun. Trying to see if you feel your bops are in the karaoke list. And then
Yeah.
did he show up alone? Did he show up with people?
No, he
How
showed
did
up
he
with
come in?
security. He came in with security. So he showed up and we were like, having fun singing. And I remember he came in and he sat next to her. And I think they like ordered like a bunch of food. It was almost
Mhm.
like to distract everybody. That's how it made me feel. Like it was like all of a sudden all this food comes in the room and then they pulled her out of the room. Yeah. So they
Really?
brought all this food in the room and then they pulled her out. And so I followed her because I was
Yeah.
like, this feels weird. And
Yeah.
when I like opened the door, he had her cornered behind the door and there was like, I want to say it was at least two security guards. Could have been three, but at least two. And they just like formed like not balloons. They formed like a circle. Did you see that?
I see the balloons.
Oh
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah. They're
God.
gone now. They're gone.
Okay. So they formed like a circle like around him and her, and he just was like cussing her out in her face. And I just like was like pretending to go to the back because I knew something was up, right? So I just was like,
Yeah.
and her and I were just kind of like she was looking down at the ground and like kind of looking up at me. And so um all of a sudden party's over, Cass is leaving and she's leaving with him. Um and she like so after he was cussing her out and I guess told her she was gonna go with him, she asked me and two of our friends if we would stay the night at her house, like even though she was going with him. So we all went back to her house.
So let me just slow this down. So
Yeah.
you see him being aggressive to her. She's surrounded by men. Diddy says you kind of got in there because you had been feeling weird vibes all night.
Yeah, it was weird.
You, yeah, even the way you said he ordered like a crazy amount of food
Crazy
and
amount of food. It was
to
weird.
make you guys, because you guys, we're all going out, we're drinking, so everybody wants to eat and everybody jumps on the food. He pulls you, you go out to be nosy, right? But not even nosy. That's the normal word. To literally look out, because we do
To
that for
see
our
if she's
friends. Like,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you felt his energy was off. He's surrounded her. There's security guards around. He's cursing her out. The security guards are basically guarding him
A
to make sure
shield for
nobody.
him to do it. That's what I mean by like
Okay.
insulated, where it's like, you know, for the people that are like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? I'm like, you don't understand. Like, he's not doing this by himself.
Yeah.
You know what I
There's no
mean?
home.
Like,
Yeah. And
yeah.
when he does do stuff, it sounds like there's a whole team that just blink like nothing happened.
That like
You know,
like, yeah, like facility, just like, you know, it's like like they go into a mode where and they just make it happen, whatever it is. Like they just deal with, I don't know, it's weird.
so then he's like, come on, you're coming with me. And at that
Hmm.
point, she somehow finds a way to be like, hey, can you guys spend the night?
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
then what
we
happened? Go on.
So then we all go back to her house. I can't remember whether or not she rode with him. I want to say she rode with him, but I can't remember because we all took like you know, those like big like Cadillac or Escalade trucks or whatever, black
Yeah.
cars. So we took a
Yeah.
car from her house to the event, and then we took the truck to Blind Dragon. And I think she went with him, and he dropped her off at the house to like grab some things from her house. So she was like
Okay.
packing a bag. And so when we got in the house, she just kept saying, I don't want to go. I don't want to go with him. I don't want to go with him. And I'm like, well, girl, like, if you don't want to go with him, like, why are you going to go with him? And then there was one person that was there, and they were like, she always goes. And I just was like, what is, have you ever felt like, what is going on? I don't know what's happening, but something's happening.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Like, it felt like I just felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. Like, he's packing the bag, he's cussing her out in her face. Like, I knew already, like, I already knew by that time that something was going on. I had never seen him get physical with her, but I had definitely heard him like cuss her out real bad.
Okay.
You know, like, so I felt like, and I mean,
So
unfortunately,
you thought, go on. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
like you know, Cassie is not my first friend that is a survivor of DV. And so
Okay.
unfortunately, this ain't my first rodeo. So I just was
Mhm.
like, you know, bells is going off, like, this is weird. And so yeah, she just kept saying, I don't want to go, 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 I don't want to
Her
go. And
tone,
then
her tone when she kept saying, I don't want to go. Because I'm trying to be there in the room. Was it more like, girl, I don't want to go? Or was it something
no,
like,
it was like she seemed uncomfortable. And
yeah,
that's why I was like, girl, if you don't want to go, don't go.
yeah,
You know, she seemed scared. She seemed like she didn't have a choice, is what it seemed like. Like, you know, it was like there's no such thing as like I don't go, you know. And I didn't
hmm
know where she was going. I didn't know what was going on yet. Um,
mm.
and so he pops up at the door. You
How much
ready?
time do you think elapsed between when he dropped her off for her to get packed and him popping up on her?
I don't know, maybe 20 minutes.
And was
Not
he
long.
popping up like, hurry up, or popping up to take the
To
temperature of
come
the
get
room with
her.
you guys?
No, he
Okay.
was
All
popping
right.
up to come get her and leave.
Okay.
Yeah. He was popping up to come get her and leave. And so he popped up, came and got her. They left. And I just was like, that's weird. And you know what I noticed? Like, so
Hmm.
this was like at that point, me and Cassie had been friends for like about a year. Me and her met each other and got cool in 2015 when we started working. And like, so, you know, I had been around her for a while, but I had never been in a circumstance like that. Like I said, this was literally the first time I met Puff in person this day. And
At the
so
party.
yes, like this
Okay.
whole night is for my
Okay.
first interaction with him in person. Where the other people that were there, that was not their first time interacting with him. Just being around it in general. And so I almost felt like, am I tripping? That was the friend I was the friend that
Mhm.
was like, they said that I always look like I had a question mark on my head. To me,
You
always
were
like
like,
they were like, get her ass out of here. They did not like me because I was like, that seems weird. You know what I
mm,
mean? Or
yeah.
like I can't explain why why the hair on my arms are standing up, but they are, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
But so he comes and he gets her, and one of the people that was there who said she always goes, they were like, they'll be back. Watch, they'll be back tonight. And I was like, what? And he was like, watch. I said he. And so go to bed. I was sleeping in Cassie's room. I was in her bed, sleep. I was asleep in her bed. One of the other friends was asleep on the couch, and the other friend was sleeping in the room with me.
So it's a 1-bedroom apartment.
It was a 2-bedroom.
Okay, gotcha.
The second bedroom is a closet.
Gotcha. Okay.
That turns into a closet, yeah. And so all of a sudden, I'm woken up to like screaming, singing, and hearing him screaming, emotional singing bitch. He's just screaming, emotional singing bitch, emotional singing bitch. And so I get up and we go into the living room, and he's like, emotional singing bitch, there you are, looking at me. And I'm like, oh, he's talking to me.
He woke up and was like, me? Excuse me. But here's the question. When you say he's screaming, is he screaming like the neighbors might have heard him? Like
screaming, yes.
Okay.
Screaming loud.
Okay. So this wasn't any like emotional. It's not like he was trying to bring the party back.
He wasn't like, hey, no.
Yeah, no. He was
He was cussing out. Emotional singing bitch. Because he like, so he was screaming. First of all, so they come in. This is my first time ever seeing Cassie inebriated like this. I had never seen her said she was like sedated. It was like she was like there, but she wasn't there. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like she just was kind of like in the corner.
Was she responsive?
Like, no, she just was like, she was awake, but she just was kind of like a zombie.
Yeah.
She just was like a zombie. And he was screaming at me and the other 2 friends, but me specifically, because I'm emotional singing bitch, right? Emotional singing bitch, tell your girl she wants some birthday D. And he said the word. Tell your girl she wants some birthday D. I flew all the way from Miami. I threw this party for her. She gonna get this D. And I'm like, yo, she doesn't have to have sex with you if she doesn't want to, Puff. She gonna get this D. She gonna get this D. And I remember saying something to him about his eyes. I was like, what were y'all doing? Your eyes look nuts. Like his pupils were like, oh, we were just drinking. I'm like, she doesn't look drunk. This is why when people be like, what did you do? You didn't do shit. It be pissing me off, because literally in that moment, the first time I saw him do something, I said something in that moment, stood up and was like, no.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to do that with you. No. And then he took her again. They just like dipped again. And I remember his house, the house that got raided in LA.
Okay.
Her place was just right at the bottom of the hill from his house. So he used to take a golf cart from his house and drive it down the hill to hers. Okay. So they had driven from the golf cart back to her house. So when they left, we looked over the balcony. So her balcony overlooked where like the car where you would pull up. So like where valet is at. So it's kind of like the back of the building. Like, yeah, it's the back of the building. So when you look down, you can see where valet is. You can see where people pulled up. So we could see the golf cart. So we see him and her get on the golf cart. They pull off, drive onto Wilshire on this girl.
In a golf cart in the middle of the night?
Yes, on a golf cart, middle of the night. I want to say she was in like a robe or some kind. It was so crazy. I remember one of the people that we were with calling his team like, yo, like it was like a movie, like, yo, they're on Wilshire. I was like, they're gonna get arrested. They're gonna die. This is what is going on. It was so fucking crazy.
So for those of you guys that don't know, if you're not from LA, Wilshire Boulevard is not a little side street. It is a huge,
it's a main artery.
It's a
Main
main
artery.
artery. It's basically like a little highway that's running through, and you
Yes.
usually take Wilshire to get everywhere in Los Angeles. So to
Yes.
be inebriated, looking like you zoning, eyes bugged out in the middle of the night on a golf cart is very, very. And people be drag racing on Wilshire too sometimes too. So there's also that. It's just not.
I was just like, oh my God, they're gonna go to jail. Like that's what I just
Yeah.
kept thinking. Oh my girl's gonna go to jail. You know what I mean? My girl gonna go to jail. My girl
Yeah.
gonna go to jail. Like, and that was my first time meeting Puff.
So let's go back to, because I feel you too. I've seen a lot of idiots being like, "Oh, how come her friends didn't do something?" I'm like, okay, first y'all wanted Cassie to be Wonder Woman, and
It's
Diddy
like
had
he
a whole team of
did.
people. Yeah, and then the friends, of course you try, but see, that's the thing about when people need to educate themselves about abuse. When you are the friend, because I too have been there. When you are the friend, that's just like,
I'm sorry.
yeah, the
Because
only
it's
people that,
traumatizing too. That's why I want to
yeah,
say I'm sorry, because it's traumatic watching your friends go through that stuff and not have any control, nothing that you can do. Sorry to cut you off, but I just wanted to
no.
acknowledge you.
Yeah, but no, thank you. But it's like, I just want to explain to people, even the cycle of abuse, which is why I say your friends going through it, leave the light on. Let them know no matter what happens, there will always be space, because these
I got
people,
you. Yeah.
will isolate you. And they only let the friends stay around that look the other way when they get handsy with them. When
And
you are
I
like,
was
look,
not that friend. I want to be clear. I was not that friend. I was the friend that got pushed out because I was like, what is going on? I was not the friend that didn't say anything. And so because of that, like it was on again, off again, on again, off again when it came to her and I, because I wasn't acting like I didn't see anything. I wasn't. I was asking questions. I was asking, are you okay?
yeah. Let me go back to the first time that you met Diddy that night. So all this happened in the same night. It was like a
It
bad
was
movie that wouldn't
crazy.
end.
It was
But
insane.
in the beginning, just to get people give an idea of like the control he exerts, you said that people were hovering around you. How was it hovering? Were they listening? Were they watching? Were they trying to like
They just were
interject?
moving everywhere we went. Everywhere we went, they were just like sitting there listening. You could just tell, like it was like handlers.
Mm. So
Like
they
it was
weren't
like
they
it
weren't
was
trying to
like
interact or be friendly. They were just like always, every time y'all went to the bathroom, came back, ordered a drink, you turned around, and there were like the same people just
the
watching
same
and
people.
listening.
Yeah. And just
Mm.
telling him what it is that we're doing. Oh, they're going here. This is what they said that they're doing. This is what, you know. Also, I want to go back and tell y'all about the first time, like my first time seeing something was wrong, to just give you an idea of the control. So when I want to say so this was in 2015. I want to say this was when Cass was filming Perfect Match. I think it was during filming. One night we went out. Puff was in Miami. We were all in LA, and it was another birthday. So I guess it was her 28th birthday. We went to Ace of Diamonds with a group of friends, had fun, and the I noticed that there were like certain men that didn't want to interact with her, like saw her. Like I remember there was one person in particular that she saw that night. I remember her being like, yo, why you didn't come over and say, you know, what's up? And he was like, I don't want no problems, you know, like. And I just was like, okay, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember, you know, like anybody, you lead a club late, everybody having a good time. I remember her and I went to McDonald's. We got breakfast food for everybody, like the whole crew. And he called her while I was in the car. And I remember she was like, you want to see something or you want to hear something crazy? And I was like, what? And she answered the phone. And as soon as she answered the phone, where the are you? Whoa! Like he went. It sounded like a pimp. Like I just was like, he was. So he was upset with her because she went out because we were outside. where are you at? What are you doing? Why are you? What are you doing? I remember him being like, you know, do you know what time it is? I remember feeling like we are not kids. It's her birthday. We went to AOD. You're not even here. Like, what are you talking about? She went and picked up some money because it wasn't even just like, oh, we're going to party. Nah, she went and picked up a bag and did her birthday at AOD, you know? And so it was like, what? And he just, you know, he was spazzing about her being outside. And so she hung up on him. So then he called her. You effing me, you hang up on me again, and I'm gonna take your car, and then I'm gonna take your. He just started threatening her about all the things that he was gonna take away for her hanging up on him. And then he was like, and I know someone's in the car. I know someone's in the car with you. You effing lying. And she was like, no, no one's in the car. I was in the car, sitting in the front seat, listening to him, going crazy. And then when we got back to the house, he called her on FaceTime and made her show him the room. Who all is in the house? Who all is there?
What?
We were all like, hi, Puff. It was so weird. I remember it was all this McDonald's food. Like, what are y'all doing? I remember him being like, what are y'all doing up or something like that. And we were just like, what? Like, I just remember being like, what in the hell is this? What are you talking about? What? It was weird. It was crazy. And I wasn't the only person that was there. I had this conversation with one of my homies the other day about that day. And he just was like, man, like it, that was so weird. Everyone's like, hi, hey. Fucking strange. Excuse my profanity. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So when you he made her do all this stuff. How was Cassie acting when it happened? Was she acting like it was normal? Was she acting embarrassed? Like, how was she acting when this was happening?
When he was yelling at her?
When he was yelling, even when he made her show the whole house
She just
on
seems
Facebook.
like it just seems like this is the program. Like it seemed like she's used to it, um so when I would be like, I remember when her and I, like, last year, when her and I really sat down and talked about everything, from a place of understanding now and knowing what happened. um you know, she was like, you would be the person that would always just like look at me weird, that would make me feel like, so this isn't okay, right? Like I'm not tripping. And I'm like, no, this is weird. This is weird. And like I said, at this point, this was before I knew that he was being like before first of all, this whole time I never knew about the freak offs. I didn't know about any of that. I knew that he was physically violent with her. That's what I knew.
Okay.
But after all of this, like, when her and I sat down in October of last year and just really, she just told me everything, like, yo, so this is why he called you emotional singing bee that night. That night was a freak off.
Tell us about that.
That's why she didn't want to go. She told me, she was like, I didn't want to go because he was trying to take me to a freak off. And he took her to a freak off that night. And and then she told me, she was like, and the reason why he called you emotional singing bee was because we were listening to the new music during the thing
Oh, the new music with the
that
Do
I
It
was
written for
writing
Cassie
her. Hmm.
during it. And that's why, and he kept you
So
in
that's
his
why he kept,
mind.
I guess. So I guess that's why when he came back in the room to be like, tell your girl she wants some birthday D, he was talking about the freak off. And I mean, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know if it was like subconscious. So it's like, oh, because he knew I was at the house. So,
Yeah,
but he don't got no respect for me. He probably didn't even remember my name at that point. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just, what's that
yeah,
girl's name? Emotional singing bee. Tell
yeah.
your girl, tell her I want this from her.
What else did Cassie share? So there was the violence was known. Do you think that you were the first person to notice, or do you think you were the last person to find out about the violence? Whereas just your impression that the team around him, the people around him, the people he let around Cassie, they
Mhm.
kind of knew that the situation was very volatile.
I don't I think that when it comes to the people on her side, because it's like two sides. So like there's the friends that are friends with Cassie that know him because of her. And then there are the people
Okay.
who are friends with Cassie who are friends with him. And are
Gotcha.
so it's like two separate, it's like two separate friend groups. And
Mm,
so I don't know, personally, I don't know what everyone knew.
mm,
But I also know that you know, she wasn't the only person being abused in the situation. It's just
what do you
like
mean?
our friend being hung from the balcony, like she was not the only person that was um traumatized, that was like in the thing. And so I think that I don't even know how people were perceiving it, because they were inside of the thing too. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Gotcha.
you
Got you.
know,
You were in
like,
upside down land. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know. I don't like where, like, for me, right? Like I got pushed in and out because every time I came in, I was like weird. Then I'm going weird. Then I come back
Yeah.
in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and so like it was just like, oh, get her out of here. She doesn't do drugs. She doesn't do this. She doesn't do that. She keep, um,
Ah, he
yeah, because
couldn't
I didn't.
seduce you into it,
No,
right?
no, right. Because it was like I didn't do any of that. And so, like I said, like they said, I would always look like the friend with the question mark on my head. Like I just was always like, I could see things a little bit clearer, but I wasn't sure what was going on, because there was another layer. Like if you did drugs, there was things that you saw and were around. Like there's things I wasn't around because I didn't use. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't know. I don't know what everyone knew for real. Like at this
Yeah.
point, I don't really believe anybody at this point all the way. Like when it comes to, like, I think at this point, everyone is trying to figure out how to save their own ass, and make the shit make sense. Oops, sorry, and make it make
That's
sense.
okay. Yeah.
Um, and so I don't know who saw what and what, like I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know that, like, the people that I do know who knew she was being hurt, everybody I knew personally that knew she was being hurt was there to support her and helped her. Everybody.
Mm,
There is not one friend um like that's behind the scenes that wasn't um supportive of her. And if you've ever supported somebody that's gone through DV, all you can do is be present. That's it. All you can do is be present. You have no control over the decisions that
yeah.
that person makes. You have no control over the perpetrator of the crimes. And it's a delicate dance. It's a dangerous situation. And the
Mhm.
process of supporting somebody getting out of that is a journey. It's not some isolated incident. Like someone said to me on DM, I had got a DM the other day, like, you're a worthless friend. You should have just snatched her phone and threw it in the ocean. I was like, this is not even a real, throw it in the ocean. Like, that's not real. What world do you
Girl,
live in? What
it's
world
but
are you living in?
it takes just to interject really quick. You
Seven.
guys,
Yep, there
for
we
you,
go.
yeah, for those who don't know, it takes at least 7 or 8 times of the worst incidents of the person hitting rock bottom before they're ready to walk away. If it was that easy to be like, girl, love yourself and hide their phone, there would be no DV. By the time somebody has hit you, they have broken your self esteem, they have gotten into your head. Most victims actually think they deserve it. So by the time that they hit, this is normalized. It's almost like talking to an abused child. And then to tell a child, that's it. You ain't never seen your mom or dad again. You see the best in them. Okay, fine, they didn't do this. Fine, they didn't do that. But sometimes we laugh, sometimes we joke. It's so complicated. And for people, and I think when people do that, it's a way of roundabout victim blaming because we don't know how to help you. So why didn't you help yourself? It's more, abuse is a very complicated thing, and definitely physical abuse, they've gotten into your head. So we need to stop that
Can
chatter
I
about
can,
why. Go on.
can I add domestic
Mm,
violence? The statistic for women in America is 1 in 3. So cut it with the you don't know what I'm talking about. All y'all know what I'm talking about. And if there's 1 in 3 women, then there's 1 in 3 women or men beating on these women. So stop it.
mhm,
Stop it. Like I know so many abusive men.
mhm.
What? Are you kidding? Cut it out. Knock it off. That's why I said in that video, knock it off, Puff, because it's cap. It's cap.
Yeah.
And Charlemagne said the other day on the radio, until the 1920s, it was legal to beat your wife. Until the 1970s, um,
It was
um,
called the rule. That's where that saying, the rule of thumb, comes from, because it used to be that domestic violence got so bad that they would say the rod you beat your wife with, was it thicker than your thumb? And if it was thicker than your thumb, you might be in trouble. But if it was thinner than your thumb, you could beat your wife as bloody as you wanted. That's where the saying, the rule of thumb, comes from.
their tank tops were called wife beaters.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
so common. And so for all of these people clutching their pearls, like they never did the same thing that he did to her, or worse, in that video that they just saw,
Yeah.
is bull. And I think that, like, anybody who has supported somebody through domestic violence, or anything like this, or just an abusive relationship in general, you
Mm,
know that it's a long game. And that also, the
mm,
reality is some of these people be threatening these women. And so it's not just, if someone's already assaulted you and done all these terrible things to you, and they tell you that they're going to take your life, you believe them. It makes me think, I have a girlfriend who went through a really bad domestic violence situation and DV situation, and by the time she left, she was running for her life, because she was
mm.
afraid for her life. She was
Yeah.
afraid for her kids' life. She was afraid for, you know what I mean? It's like, I had an abusive ex when I was younger, and I remember when I left, he started popping up everywhere I was at. I'm not gonna let you leave. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And so it's like these expectations for people that are just like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? The same reason you did. The same reason that you, like Amanda still said, the same reason why you still working at that job with that crappy boss that's treating you like crap. The same reasons, because you have to protect yourself, you have to protect your family, you have to pay your bills, you have to. And then when you're going after
Yeah.
somebody that's powerful, like Puff, you're going against his influence, his fame, his political ties, his street ties. Like, all these people that are like, why didn't you? We wasn't like, we in LA. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Like, I'm not stupid. Y'all saw what Lil Rod alleges about, you know,
Gee.
and
It's
and
so
and the LAPD and all of that. And so it just is like, um what I don't
So, for
know.
you guys that don't know what she's referring to, in Little Rod's lawsuit, there's an incident with a gentleman named as G. For some reason, they're keeping his name hidden. He was in a recording studio, Chalice Record Recording Studios in Los Angeles. He walked in. Was in a bathroom with Justin and with Diddy. Little Rod says he heard gunshots. He walked in. Diddy and Justin left. He walked into the room. This guy was bleeding out. The police was called, right? All this stuff happened. He said that the LAPD did not really investigate. They lied about what was going on. And after that, it was covered up. Now, the odd thing is, I did my own little research on that, okay? And nobody really knows what happened except for the people there. But
Hmm.
anytime there is a shooting, especially suspected gang related, and there is a celebrity involved instead of a rapper, it is splashed all over. If you even Google
It was
shooting,
nowhere.
yeah, it was. I found one on like the local Fox channel thing, and it was just a little blurb. There was a shooting, police are investigating, and it was nowhere. So it leads me to believe that, yeah, he had the media on lock. We see right now with TMZ, he has it on lock. Diddy is connected. So, to your point, You
And
know,
then also
go
the
on.
thing is you can't tell somebody's story for them. Like
Hmm.
from the like I went back and I read some of my like old journals from this time. And so for those of you that don't know, I managed Cassie in 2019, and I helped get her out of her her bad boy record contract.
Hmm.
Um and um
You helped her get out her
and
contract. Okay.
I lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about before that? You were saying something about G.
Oh, the way he was connected, the way they didn't even really investigate it and everything could be covered up. So Diddy is heavily connected to the streets. At least that's what the streets are saying. That
Dang,
he's heavily connected to them.
I can't remember why I was saying that. But I mean, I'll tell y'all that. I'll tell y'all that story though.
Tell
The
me, you got her out of her contract.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just me. It was me, a partner of mine at the time, um, and oh, I was saying I went back and read my journals. So around this time when we were trying to get her out of her deal, I went back and I read my journal, and it was all about how afraid I was to take this on. I was afraid to manage her. I was afraid to go through the process of trying to help her get out of her deal. I was afraid of how it was going to impact my life, how it was going to impact my career, but I knew it was the right thing to do. And so, I did it, and 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 as a unit, we were successful. But I was talking about how it back then, like how I'm like, man, if Cassie ever told the world about this, it would change everything. And I remember when she left and she was fighting to get out of her deal. And I was always the friend that was with this. I was always like, you need to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was like, nah, I just want to get away. Like, and people don't understand, like, processing trauma and healing from trauma, understanding trauma is a process, right? So, like, she left, she got out of her deal, and, and during that time, that was when Gina had came forward. Gina Huynh, she had come forward on Tasha K. And
Okay,
so
Gina.
yeah, that was like around that time. And yeah, she was always like, no, I don't want to do this. And so I could never, like, for the people that are like, why didn't you say anything then? Why didn't you this, that, and the third? I'm like, first of all, if I would have said something then, y'all know y'all wouldn't have believed me, first of all.
Mm.
So stop with the cap. You didn't believe her when she came
Mm.
forward. So stop. But
Mm.
why didn't you say anything then? Because she didn't say anything, because she wasn't ready. She told me
Yeah.
no. I have been told her, like, yo, but until she was ready, and like going back to the supporting people that go through DV, it's like you cannot make someone do something they are not ready for. And I'm proud of her for waiting until she was ready, because look at what we're dealing with. This is a heavy lift. And
Mm.
this is people's real life. She is a real person. I am a real person. Puff is a real person. People,
Mm.
these are human beings, and like, this is hard stuff. Can you imagine what she feels like turning on the news and her assault is all over TV? Her
Yeah.
family, her husband, her kids. I can't,
Yeah.
like, and then as a friend, as somebody who loves her, watching somebody you love, like, it's like, while the world is like sensationalizing it and doing all their think pieces on it. And, I saw somebody, why did she take the stairs? It just so ignorant. Like, it just is like, you can't imagine if that was your friend, if that was your daughter, if that was your wife, your mom, and you were watching that happen to her, you wouldn't. These are not the things that would be coming out of your mouth. It wouldn't. And this expectation for you to know everything to do in that moment is
Mm.
bull. That's not
Mm.
you. Survival kicks in, fight or flight kicks in. The girl didn't have no shoes on.
Yeah.
You know what I
And that
mean?
was in the middle of a freak off. That was
Huh?
in the middle of a freak.
Exactly.
That was in the middle of a freak off. They'd had a freak
Yes.
off. He had punched her in her face. The court documents say that during the freak off, and Cassie said the freak offs didn't just last an hour or two. They were days long experiences. In the middle of a freak off, he punched her in her face. Then little while later, he kind of dozed off. That's why he got socks on, right? He kind of dozed off. She then was like, I'm out. Again, you got to hit rock bottom 7 or 8 times. She grabbed what she could. She even grabbed her shoes and she ran out there. He woke up, heard her leaving. She was literally racing to the elevator, hoping something would happen. And we saw what happened. The elevator didn't come in time. If that elevator had come in time, who knows what would have happened.
Can you
Yeah.
believe that there are people that would take money to hide something like that?
I do. I
That
think,
just is
listen,
so.
the one thing that I do agree about is I think this happens and it's very widespread in places where there are entertainment, money, and in the entertainment industry, whether it be acting, whether it be music, it seems like that's almost a perk, a beneficial
Mhm.
perk of being in the in crowd. So I do think that they probably see stuff like that happen all the time. But to the point of people saying, oh, that happens all the time, that doesn't diminish one person's pain. It means hold everybody else accountable. Really quick, Jacqueline Carlson, thank you so much for the super chat. She said, generous super chat. Thank you, Jacqueline. She said, thank you, Tiffany. We are coming up to speak your truth. You're courageous and thank you for standing by Cassie. Unfortunately, Diddy had all these henchmen around him that did
Yep.
whatever he needed to be done. Unfortunately, Diddy had all of them around him. Okay. And they did do what needed to be done. Did you ever see even more evidence of that? Or was it kind of just like that intimidation when you see people coming in squad deep and you're just like, oh my God, what do we do?
Sorry.
No problem.
Sorry, somebody was calling me. Hold on, let me put my phone on do
It's
not
okay.
disturb.
Go
Sorry.
ahead and do what you
There
need
you
to do.
go.
We'll read some. So, what do you say to Jacqueline about
No, 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 I'm
having
here. Go
his
ahead.
henchmen? So, what do you feel about Jacqueline? What she says about Diddy having his henchmen and henchwomen around him?
hmm I mean, yeah, those were the people that I saw that night of the Blind Dragon that, formed the circle around her so that he could do what he did. I mean, that's why like when I say, what did you expect us to do? Like, it's a lot of people. We're outnumbered. We're outnumbered and we're out resourced, if that's even a thing. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Definitely. Also, I have a quick question. So
Mhm.
Jamie had a question where she says, what do you feel about where we are now in the world? Do you think if the climate was different back then that Cassie would have done more publicly, or you could have done more publicly, even as a friend? Or would you still have waited until she was ready to face the music?
I would have always waited until she was
Yeah.
ready. Like I don't think that it's anyone's place to publicly tell somebody else's story. I also do not believe that if I would have went to the police, I would have been believed. I think I would have just put her in more danger. Um and I think as far as the climate, the thing is like Cassie has never been the kind of person that's like sitting down, doing interviews, doing all of that. And I don't know if that's because of the controlling situation.
Mhm.
Like I've only, like I saw her with him for a really long time as far as us working. So I don't know if the climate were different. I mean, maybe because the thing is, she used the Adult Survivors Act to file that lawsuit. It had to
Mhm.
exist for, shout out to Drew Dixon. She's somebody who fought for
Oh,
that.
Jurisdiction
Yeah,
with the
Drew
Russell
Dixon was a
Simmons
big
thing.
yeah, she was a
Oh,
big part of fighting for the Adult Survivors Act in New York. So I mean, yeah, it is the time and climate because if that didn't exist, she would have never been able to file it because it was outside of the statute.
that's a good point.
So yeah. I mean,
And
and
a
then
large
also like
part.
it's so social media. Look, we're on like what we're doing right now. We're on YouTube. You've built this incredible platform that reaches all of these people. I mean, I'm on the internet. I'm on my socials. You know, I use my platform to speak. And so there's things that are there's new formats of there's new formats for content that allow us to get around the gatekeepers to tell these
Mhm.
stories. Like when this was all first happening, like I mean, fine, Instagram was around, but it was not being used for that yet. Like it wasn't
Mm.
what you get what I'm saying. Like there were just things that haven't, you know, it's a process. So I don't know. I think a lot of things had to happen for you know for things to get here. You know, like it just you know it took
I
time.
agree
It
with
takes
that.
time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've heard a lot of people, even with the Diddy thing, being a little bit cynical and being like, oh my God, you think he'd be here if the powers that be didn't want to happen? And I said, maybe 20 years ago, where the only way to get your story out was on CNN or Dateline, or
Yeah,
when Rihanna with the Chris Brown had to go on
yeah,
Diane tour or whatever. But now,
yeah.
I don't think that, to Tiffany's point, I think that there are so many ways to get a story out if you wanted to, that the gatekeepers are actually freaking out because they don't have the same control.
I
Really
mean,
quick.
look at Puff. He apologized on Instagram. He didn't go sit down with Diane Sawyer. He didn't need to. You don't have to
Mhm,
anymore, you know?
mhm,
Which makes you, I think, also creates a space where you feel safer. Because the other thing is that I don't think a lot of people understand when people are saying, like, you know, why now? Why are y'all coming out now? People that call me a clout chaser and call other people. The thing is the light is our protection. You know who we are now.
mhm.
Before, if I would have come forward and something happened to me, you would have never knew because you didn't know who I was. You didn't know who these people were that are suing and this, that, and the third. And so it's like the light being on this is the protection. It is the safety that makes people feel a little bit more confident. How many lawsuits have been filed that makes the next lawsuit, the next person filing a lawsuit, feel a little bit more safe because you know what he's capable of, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, what were we about to say?
No, no, no. I know what you're capable of. I do want to say that I 100% believe you, and the light is out. And like you said, 10, 20 years ago, like you said, it could have been like Tiffany, who you walking home. This is a man that literally, and Kid Cudi agreed, blew up his car because Kid Cudi was trying to kick game. He beat up his assistant, according to
And y'all
Capricorn
didn't
Clark.
know about that. And y'all didn't know about that. He
Nope.
did that, and for years, that has been the worst kept industry secret ever. And the public didn't know about that, and nothing happened. And he's famous. So the people who
Yeah.
don't have fame and all of that, who don't have the, because also it's resources. You need resources to protect yourself. Like the
Hmm.
more money you have, the more you know that you can insulate yourself. You know, and so it just is it's a process. It's a process, man.
It's a process. I do want to say this for anybody that is interested in following Tiffany, supporting her initiatives. I just want to, in the middle, really quick, we'll get back to the conversation. This is riveting, but I
Yeah.
want to highlight the initiatives that Tiffany is actually working on right now. And if you're watching this on playback after the live, in the description box, there will be a link to Tiffany's Instagram, the initiative she's working on. You can donate. Also, I know Tiffany don't want it. We'll put her Cash App in just in case, because you know we need some good music. But there's going to be a lot of initiatives she's working on. Um, uh, Again, let's get into the initiatives and also her Instagram and her socials if you want to follow her and support, because she's not just doing the talk and saying, oh my God, even though talking is important. If you were just doing that, that'd be great. But you are actually trying to implement a system-wide change in an industry that I and many like me deem just rotten to the core. So let's get into some of your initiatives really quickly. Um, that's so lovely, Tiffany. I gotta say, you are so pretty, Tiffany. I know.
Oh,
Half the
thank
time you're
you.
speaking, I'm like, pay attention, pay attention. Hold on, let's go.
Uh-huh.
I have this. So again, and we'll dive back into the conversation, but you guys, really quick, You also pinned a letter in Rolling Stone, like many people said, detailing how you were traumatized, because I think that's why so many people have questionable ties to abuse, because people don't realize it also traumatizes the people that uh also have to witness it. So it's almost like a poison, and you have to be strong to take the abuse, but you also have to be strong to witness this and realize that you can't actually get the person out. So the initiatives that you started, why don't you take us through the 100 percenters? Tell us about that. There'll be links in the description box for anybody that wants to get involved, but tell us about the 100 percenters.
Okay, so the 100 Percenters is a nonprofit organization that I founded in 2020 in response to me speaking out. I was speaking out about unfair compensation as a songwriter that went viral back in 2020. And it sparked a movement that sparked an organization that I have been now building and leading for the last 4 years. And we do some excellent work in the music community. We've partnered with Sony Music Publishing and given, and actually Spotify as well, and have given out songwriter stimulus grants. We do song camps. Do protests. I mean, we do all kind of stuff. I would like to say I'd call myself the school newspaper is what the 100 Percenters is. It's a school newspaper. So it's like, if you want to know what's going on in the industry, and like like from our royalties, and like right now songwriters are fighting with Spotify, like you can find out what's going on with that, or the stuff with Puff. I'm really passionate about combating abuse of all kinds in the music industry, and they all go hand in hand: financial abuse, psychological abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. It just all is wrapped up into one thing. So the Safe Music Business Initiative is something that we've been working on for the last 2 years, that was in response to, honestly, this initiative in particular, and my work in this space is from this situation,
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen abuse at a high level, and I've seen abusers protected at a high
Mm-hmm.
level. And so yeah, we started the Safe Music Business Initiative and launched the Safe Music Business Pledge, and challenged a bunch of record companies and publishing companies and organizations to sign on and pledge to commit to creating safer spaces in the music industry, creating there being more transparency, more accountability, more repercussions,
Mm-hmm.
for these people. And we've gotten the Recording Academy. We've gotten some other big organizations, like this organization called NMPA, which represents all of the publishing, songwriting, the music publishing companies. LVRN, the record label Summer Walker signed to, actually, LVRN, they took the Safe Music Business Pledge. But
Nice.
yeah, I
Mm.
was really grateful to them.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, most of the record companies and publishing companies and digital service providers that we've reached out to about this were either silent or just gave me a bunch of like run around. um and it's a very good example, like how they didn't show up to pledge to make things safer. It's a example of how somebody like Puff happens. Like when people are like,
Mm.
how does this happen? How did this go unchecked? Blah, 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 blah. The thing is when once somebody is a cash cow, all
Mm.
they're worried about is protecting the bread. They don't care what they're doing. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's what this is about. This is it. And
Mm.
so, um, when it's the cash cow, they protecting the money, and there's a whole lot more interest corporate wise to protect that one person than there is to protect people like me who's gone in the studio to write for them you know
Mm.
and so it's a systemic issue, and it is a well-oiled machine. There are a lot of people, Drew Dixon is a great example. A brilliant executive that we lost because of this. Instead of these companies dealing with them, they just got rid of her. And
Yeah.
there's these companies, they have these they call them slush funds, big old budget just to pay people off so that you
Yeah.
never hear about it, so that things get settled, and you never know. It never makes it to the news. It never, and like, if it's not someone like this case specifically with Cassie and Puff is the reason why it goes so crazy is because they are both celebrities. They're both massive. If she was
Oh,
not
good point.
massive, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so it's like there's so many different pieces that go into it, and there's so many people whose job it is to protect the brand at all costs, because the brand
Mm.
is what's keeping the lights on, is paying everybody's bills, and keeps us at the Grammys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it is like, to go up against something like this it's not simple, which is why the 100%ers, we're focused on the systemic work, um and and challenging these companies. We did a safe music business virtual panel. We actually had Tyrone on there. Tyrone Blackburn was on there. A therapist named Sarita Butler, she was on there. An activist
Nice.
named Alexa Nichols, she was the one of the subjects from Quiet on the Set. She's runs an
Yes.
organization called Eat Predators. She was on there.
Mm.
I'll send you the link so you can check it out.
Yeah,
And
I'll
we
put those in
just
the
talked about,
description box for anyone that
yeah,
wants
and
to. Go on.
yeah, and we just spoke about, like, how do we create safer spaces in the music business? Like, obviously, like, we're spreading the awareness about what's going on, but how do we make it better? And so, I'm working closely with um music companies and
Mhm.
organizations to, like, develop systems that, like for instance, there's a system that we're talking about, like creating like a check-in system
Mhm.
for writers and producers when they go, like, talking, it's like a publishing company, like, oh, let's create a check-in system for all of our writers, so that when they get to the studio, we know that they're there. When they leave the studio, we know that they're leaving. When they get home, we know that they got home, so that there's some kind of, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of like how they have
Of course.
with what is it, Lyft or Uber, how you can, like,
Yeah.
the emergency stuff, and so those are the things that I'm thinking about. Like, how do we create things and systems so that these situations never happen again, and if they do, there's a resource to go to. There's people to go to that aren't inside of the thing, whose job it is to cover it up. Like, for me, I'm a
Mm.
disruptor. I'm on the outside. My only goal is to evolve the system and make it better. And so, yeah.
So I just want to say the links will be in the description box when you watch this on replay. And also, if anybody does want to enter the music system, don't let these demons get you down. Please, I encourage you, if you know someone that wants to enter the music industry, or if it's you yourself, just take a drop, sign up for the Safe Music Business Initiative, get involved, because at least they can give you a path that even then your dreams can come true without you having to not just be compromised, but just get sucked into something that could take years and decades to get out of. Again, there is a way to pursue your dreams. Like you said, if we shine the light. So, congratulations on the Safe Music Initiative. I want to read some of these questions people are asking you, but also there's a few other things um, that you are involved in. Safe Music Business, the Safe Music Business Initiative, I think, is something very, very, very powerful. Also, you work with Rain. Imagine a free world without
Oh,
blankual
I don't work with
violence.
Rain. I don't work with Rain.
Well, okay. Well, we are highlighting
I
Rain.
would
Okay. Well,
support
we're still
Rain,
highlighting. Yeah,
but
we
I support
support
Rain.
Rain. Sorry.
Yes.
You support Rain. Also, I think it's very important in this conversation. I just want to say this, and Tiffany, of course, wants to say this. Rain, imagine a world free of blankual violence. Together, we can make it happen. Show the world and the people you love that you stand with survivors. There are initiatives, there are things that you can sign to actually get things moving along on the legal. Also, you can also
And they have a
donate.
hotline. They have a
Yes.
hotline.
So if anybody needs it, this hotline, It is the National Blanket Assault Hotline. It is free. It is confidential, and it is 24/7. It is 800-656-HOPE. You can even chat. If some reason you feel so unsafe that you cannot make phone calls, you can chat with them now. They are available over the phone. They are available on the web. And it is 24/7. It only takes a second. Maybe the seventh or eighth time will be the last time that you have to go through this. So please, also, if you are experiencing this or if somebody you love is experiencing it, please raise awareness. Also, that is for the Blanket Assault Hotline. And let's not forget that a lot of DV does involve blanket assault. Even if these people look like your boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, it still happens. Also, for the National Domestic Violence Hotline, for women and children, it is 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE. Please lock those phone numbers in under Pizza Hut, mom, brother, sister, whatever you actually need to do to stay safe. Also, okay, so we got to that. Tiffany, I have a few questions for you. We're going to go to the chat. If you could just stay with us a little bit longer. I want to get to these questions. And also, if you have a little time, before we get to the questions, let me ask you this, right? Because, I'm always like, making fun of Diddy. Like, he's just like, yeah, you beautiful, right? Mouth open, in your face, super intense, right? Yeah. But to get that type of sway and pull over people, what was Diddy actually like in real life when you first met him? Not when he was like acting crazy, but do you think he had charisma? Was he charming? Could he turn it on and off? Why don't you describe your first impressions of him?
Well, so there was like a time when Puff started to get like really excited about my songwriting. I think it was in like 2016, maybe 17, somewhere around there. And he is like, love you up. Oh, Tisa, you there? Oh, there you are.
I'm there. Yeah, I'm there.
Oh,
I can hear you.
Yeah, like, I remember him being like,
we're
oh
having
my God.
technical difficulty for some reason. Hold on, it's okay. Listen, we're gonna wait for it to. Okay, it's better. Let's go.
Is it better?
Right. Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Yeah, he was definitely very oh, you're back down. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You keep like going down. Your image keeps going down and it turns into like a spinny wheel.
Does it?
I can see you now. Yeah, I can see you now. But
okay.
I'll just keep going. It's fine.
No, you talk. I'm gonna turn my camera off just to see if I can fix it. But please go on.
Okay. Yeah, he was definitely very like I would characterize it as like love bombing. Like he just was like, oh my gosh, like I remember the first time, I heard your stuff. It reminded me of Esther Dean, just gassing me up, just like, making me feel like the greatest writer in the world, and definitely very charismatic, very like, he has like a seductive energy, kind of like just pulls you in kind of energy. And yeah, definitely charismatic.
Definitely charismatic. Pulls you in.
And his energy is very like I said, it's seductive. It's curious, like it's curious. And it's weird because it's like there would be times like I've seen him be mean to somebody else, but then like not be mean to you. Like I've seen him like, yell at the engineer and then like get back to talking to me about whatever, and he's talking to me calmly and nicely and all of that. So it created that like eggshell, like I don't know if he's gonna flip who he's gonna flip on, but yeah, his like he has a lot of bravado. I mean, like what you see on TV is what he's like in person, like definitely. And the thing is like I remember when I first met him, like before I knew about everything, like that very first time I talked to him on FaceTime with Cass. And I remember being like, oh my God, like I'm on the phone with Sean Combs. This is crazy, you know? Like
Yeah.
he's, you know, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, Lil Kim, Biggie, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm a songwriter. I'm in the music industry. This is my career. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not just
Yeah.
like, I'm not just here to party, you know, like, and so um I was excited to work with Cassie. I was excited that he was excited about the music that we were making.
Mhm.
And he but yeah, just larger than life. Like I remember I went to the Can't Stop Won't Stop party at his house, and like that was the first party I had ever gone. I think I might may no, I think I might have gone to like two parties that he's had. But that was the first
Mhm.
one that I went to. And it just is like everything that you think it is. Like I just was like, wow. First of all, you see all the access because everyone is there. So then you're like,
Yeah.
damn, he know everybody. So then you just like, shoot. But also it just is it's like a show. It's like just like a big show, you know, where it just is, I don't know. And he comes out and he's in a suit and it's a whole thing, you know. Like
Yeah.
he's like Great Gatsby. And you know, I think there would be people that like, you know, just wanted to stop and get a glimpse of him. Like it was like, wow, you know, like was it this big? So yeah, like definitely charismatic and charming, very charming. And like I said, seductive. He had like a something, some kind, it just was like it pulls you kind of energy. Really intense. Like when he talks, it talks to you, like it's like not breaking eye contact. It's like looking you in your face, like, you know what I mean? It's very intense.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question though. When was the first time you remember him breaking that whole like Gate Gatsby? You know, because again, I get it a little bit. I saw an interview with Diddy with Ellen, that's resurfacing. And to me,
Hmm.
it was giving like narcissist the way like Ellen asked him a question that what you talk about this aggression
Hmm.
what roll off him is not funny because if you listen to it, it didn't sound, but there was just aggression in the body language. And then
Yeah.
Ellen was getting uncomfortable. Ellen challenged him a little bit, and then he just got this angry, like he was about to blow up and snap. And Ellen started getting uncomfortable, and then he was like, "You know what? Let's dance." And then she was like, "Okay." And I
So you're
was
just
like,
like,
"Yo, that's
what
a
is going
tool for you."
on?
That's how
Yes.
she looked. And she knows him like,
Yeah.
you're trying to throw me off. So, what was the first time that you saw the mask slip? And did the mask ever get back on once you saw it slip?
Well, I mean, the the very first time I saw the mask slip was the when I heard him yelling at her. Like I had
Mhm.
like that was the first time. But I like I said, I didn't know all the way. Then, but when it was her birthday, that night of the emotional singing bee and blah 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 blah. Like after that,
Yeah.
I was like, this is weird. Like this is weird. I felt like it was weird for a long time. Like from it didn't take long. His mask lit for me from the beginning.
But did after it slipped, did he try to at times, get you under his spell and charm you again and then you saw it
Yeah.
slip again? Or okay.
Yeah.
So he always was
Absolutely.
trying.
Yeah, like that like when I first met him at her party and he, oh, so you're the one that's talking about me. I remember he came up to me after that, like a little bit after, and he was like, I was just playing, right? And I was like, you weren't
What?
playing. Yeah, it was weird. I was playing, right? I was like,
Yeah.
but he does that, like he just tries you to see if are you gonna stand up for yourself? Are you gonna stand your ground? Are you gonna fold? Are you like it's like how that saying of like, people know who they can mess with. Like people try
Mhm.
you. They try to he's the kind of person that like will violate your boundaries like, slowly. So then you're like in those situations like how you were just talking about with Ellen where you're just like what is going by the time you figure out what's going on, it's you done already been spun in a circle. He's a master
Yes.
manipulator.
That's exactly the
Yeah.
way that
And it's
looked
like
like
a
she was
show. And because
done.
it's because it's so flashy and it's such a show, and then it's like so many people. It's the assistant, it's the chef, it's the this, it's the that. You know, especially if you're in his world. Like I've never been around
Mm.
him and not been in. You know, majority of the times that I've been around him, all the times that I've been around him, outside of maybe at one time, I think I've been around him at Chalice before, but all the other times I've been around him have been at his house. So I'm in his world.
Mm.
Like whether it was a
True.
party or whether it was, you know what I mean? I was always with Cass, you know, doing stuff, but like it was never not all of it was grandiose. So it's like you've got this like manipulative thing, this aggressive thing, this grandiose thing, all wrapped up into one thing. It's very, very confusing.
Yeah, I have to think that he does that on purpose. Right before you guys, we're going to go to the questions in 1 second. I know the super chat, you guys have a lot of questions for Tiffany. We're going to go through them. Just one question before we go to the chats. Why do you think, and this is just your opinion, right?
Mhm.
Why, and I have my opinion. What is the reason or the many reasons why you think that the people around him have allowed that to happen? I know it's money, it's access. The industry, like you said, is protecting cows. But do you think that there's something on a deeper level or something else that you notice that you think we're missing as to how this is
People are
just
scared. They're scared. When you, like this stuff is not a joke, you
Mm,
know? And so I think when you see what somebody is capable of with your own eyes, you move different. And the thing is, like one of my friends, he used to always say, it's easier to get into something than it is to get out. And you know, and so I think that there are some people that are around him that are I think there's people who are complicit, who may now be caught up in it, who may have been around so long that their intention might not have been to do some you know, any of this kind of stuff, but you know, you around long enough, now you complicit, now you might be in trouble. I think there's people who are afraid, there's people who just don't care, and there's people that are
mm,
part of the whole thing, part of the program, like, you know. And so it's just kind of like I think there's everybody has a different agenda, but the bottom line is I know a lot of people are scared. People are scared. Yes, they're scared. People are scared for their life. People are scared for their lives. People are afraid for their livelihoods, their careers. And I can say this as someone whose livelihood, some of my livelihood was derailed by him in all of this. You know, it's like the industry is small, and he's been in control and on top for a really long time. So it's like all these people got to do is make a call, you know, and now you never work again in this town. That's real. That's a real thing. So between
mm.
livelihood, and people could say, oh, money this, money that. I'm sorry, when's the last time that you paid your rent with no money? It don't work like that. I'm
It
sorry.
don't.
When the last time you tried to buy one of these houses, 3-bedroom houses for $700,000? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
this is America. This is a capitalist society. So there's no
yeah.
world. There's no world as an adult in this country where you don't have to take care of yourself too. And so yeah, I think people are afraid of retaliation. I think it's a slew of reasons, but then I think that there's some other bad people. I think
Mhm.
there are some people who've been corrupted through the process. um you know, I think it's a bunch of a myriad of reasons.
No,
And
you
then
did.
maybe some of them are abused too. Shoot, you never know. You don't know what people are going through. Like I be thinking that like I don't know any of these other women that have dealt with him personally, but I just cannot imagine that if he's doing that to her, that he not doing that to them. It just doesn't make sense. So he just did that to Cass and Gina. That's it, but nobody else. Like that doesn't make sense. And so like somebody like Young Miami, for instance, like, you know, I don't know her, I don't know her circumstances,
Mhm.
and you know, and but like how do we know she's safe? We don't know. We don't know what
That's
the
a good
truth
point.
is. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We don't know. And to see what he's capable of, it's like people are afraid of the same things happening to them. And that's a healthy fear because we know he'll do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when you quick, because you know what, and again, you're right. I waver back and forth between what's going on with Young Miami. It looks like she's done with Diddy for good, but you're right. We actually don't know what someone's going through. And if
No.
somebody is a monster, yes, she could very well be the Ghislaine Maxwell, the Diddy's Epstein, or she could just be another Virginia, the young woman that was actually a
She could
victim.
be another
And
victim. Yeah.
yeah, it
And
does
so it's
because
like all these people that are quick to judge, right? Like this is a
Mhm,
very tricky situation. And it's a dangerous situation. And so
mhm.
that's why when I was saying it frustrates me because DV is so common. You know,
Yeah,
SA is so common. Why is everyone acting like they don't know what's happening? Stop
yeah,
it. You know what's
yeah,
going on. You know it's not that easy to just get away and leave and whatever. And when someone has resources, people always thinking, oh, you staying around for the money. No, you're
mhm.
stuck because of the money.
Yeah,
You're stuck because of the resource. It's a resource. It's a resource. And what's not for sale in America?
that is
What
true.
is not for sale? So it just is like you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. All you know is what people are showing you front facing. But like, all these people, I felt for her this whole time, man. Like I'm like, all y'all, attacking her, tearing her down, trying to do all of this stuff. And it's like, focus on him, his
Yeah.
behavior. Not she didn't do nothing to y'all. Focus on him.
You
Focus
talking about Young
on him.
Miami?
Yeah, yeah, I'm saying she didn't. I'm saying everyone's focused on what
No,
she's.
you're
I mean,
right about that. I think that for myself, the one thing with Young, because I waver back and forth.
minus the
The
Gina
one thing,
thing. The Gina thing
no,
was pretty bad.
that's what I mean. When she
Yeah,
did that thing with Gina, I was like, are you abused? Are you in on this? But you are right. Until the facts come out,
but I think it might be
everybody,
both. Two things
exactly.
can
But
be true.
yeah. Listen. I'll take it easy on Young Miami moving forward because it wavers. That Gina thing was weird, but you know
You
what?
just
You
never
put it in
know.
perspective. You
It's a
never know. And at the
process
end of
and
the
it's a
day,
cycle. It's a
yeah.
cycle.
And at the end of the day, he is the target. He is the
Exactly.
one.
That's all I'm
And the
saying.
chips will fall out. Let me ask you a
Yes.
question though. What was your impression of the situation with Gina and Diddy? Because there was a little overlap between Gina and Cassie. Well, when I say overlap, Cassie was on her way out. She was trying to get out. And Gina was like coming in. So there was like a little bit of overlap. What was your impression of that? And I know, like, I'm not asking you to speak for thing, but just what was your impression, or what do you remember seeing, hearing, or even hearing from others?
Um. I mean, my impression. I don't really know too much about Gina, honestly.
Okay.
But um my impression was just she just was somebody else that was just caught up in the thing. When she came forward in 2000 and 2019,
Hmm.
like listening to her, I it's crazy because actually I watched that interview with Cass. Me and her watched it together.
Oh,
Um
really?
hmm and
What was the feeling in the room about the interview?
like it was almost like I remember back then thinking, oh my God, is this it? Like where we are now, I remember thinking, oh my God, she just, told her story. I believe her. This sounds like, yeah. Uh, And I remember watching not a single blog, no one picked it up. No one covered it. No one. All these people saw it and no one said a peep. That's when I was like, oh crap. Like,
So, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It was like, and it was because of the nature of their relationship. It's like because you don't agree with somebody's lifestyle, that means their humanity doesn't matter. So it was like, oh, she's just a this anyway. No, she's a human being, is what she is.
I
And
thought
I'm saying that
Gina
being Cassie's homegirl.
Oh
Gina
yeah,
Gina is a person, and so I think that like when she came forward, I feel like people just tried to like brush it off, and also she not famous, she's not, all
true.
these things, but she said it, and no one listened.
I actually heard
She said
on
it.
my end, I was just starting off in YouTube, and on my end, I heard that the big agencies had put the squash on that, didn't want no one
Yeah,
talking about it. That's why it didn't hit the blogs or anything. And even
didn't
when
hit
I was
nothing.
going to cover it, I had a few of my girlfriends call me and be like, "Yo, Puff is into some really dark shit. You might want to just
This
step
is what I'm
away."
saying
And I'm
though.
like,
This is
"What?" Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm
And
saying.
then
That's what
yeah,
those were my impressions. Like watching how the entertainment industry did not react to
yeah,
her coming forward was like, oh my gosh, like everybody's in on it. This is scary. This is scary
it
that she could
was.
account something so violent and people not believe her. I bet you they
I
believe her now.
knew I knew she was telling the truth when she was going on
Me
Instagram
too.
Live, and she had no, but she had carpet on her floors. Everybody thinks I'm joking, but I was like, "You're messing with a billionaire, and you are living in like a place with car." I don't know why the juxtaposition just was like, "This is an abusive relationship. He has like a hold over her," and she was
Hmm.
always trying to get his attention. I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to go into it because she said some really horrible stuff happened to her, but it shocked me that people saw like you guys. And when I say the carpets on the floor, that's because people are like, "You're a gold digger, you're trying to get money." And I'm like, she's not even taking money from this man. Like, what is going on? So but even then, just because you take money from someone, that doesn't change anything. Abuse, and like
Yeah.
you said, the money is what actually keeps you from leaving. Like it's a prison. It's not as
Yup.
simple as I'm just gonna go be broke. It is a prison, and most likely they have somehow bought everybody that you've come to care about that's allowed around you. So they distance all the people that are trying to pull you out, just how you were pushed out. And then everybody around you is either on their payroll or they are loyal because they think they're going to get some money. And worse yet, that even when you leave them, the people you swore were your friends, not your but the people that you grew to believe were your friends, they all flow with the money. So you are literally walking away from everyone, and the respect you used to get, that's gone. The people, the secrets you told, they're telling. It's a very, very sick situation. So you know what, I will say this to myself and everyone: we will have more sympathy and see Gina as a person. We already know Gina's a victim, but even young Miami, even though, because abuse, she could be a big victim. The abuse shows and manifests. Some people get aggressive, some people get quiet. So
But it's
yeah,
like allow her. I think the
yeah,
thing that's missing from all of this is grace. Give people grace. There's no one walking this earth that can understand what it's like being in this situation except for the people that are in it. And and at the end of the day, everybody is a human being. And until people come out and tell their story
okay.
themselves, like Cassie did or like Gina did, it's unfair to assume that they haven't been through anything. That's just not.
You know what? We will wait for the chips to fall, and we will disregard the tweets to Gina because she could have been
I mean,
talking
that
crazy.
tweet was awful. Like I
It
agree
was
with you.
wild.
That tweet was
But
awful. Two things.
you know what? We will offer grace. And who are we? But I know on my channel, we will offer grace to young Miami because you're right. You never truly know what's going on until you're
Yeah.
in the thing. And she could be both victim and perpetrator, or she could be all
She
victim.
could be
But
terrified too.
yes.
The odds that that girl not scared is unlikely. It's a scary situation,
Yeah.
and so it just, and then also I think like, it's a scary situation navigating and being front facing,
Yeah.
like because also like in the court of public opinion, you really are damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's no such. There's always gonna be somebody that's like, why didn't you do it this way? Say it this way.
Yeah.
Show up this way. Whatever. And so Yeah, I just really ask the public for grace and like real compassion. Compassion might be the word too. Like compassion. Like nobody is perfect. She said that terrible thing. And who knows, maybe one day she'll own it and apologize, or maybe she won't. But just because she said that doesn't mean that something that this thing can't be true too.
I
And
agree.
you know,
But you did threaten to have Diddy grape Gina because
oh,
Gina
she
showed up at
did.
the ward. Yes. When she was like, "You a munch, I'll have Diddy, if I say so, Diddy will have you on your knees eating my pee, blah, blah, blah." But that said, but
But
that said,
it's terrible. Like, I'm not excusing what she's saying. All I'm saying is two
mhm.
things could be true. That's all I'm
Listen,
saying.
girl, I feel you. Honestly, listen, as a woman, I'm literally just play like intellectualized, but as a woman, 100% I feel what you're saying. And you bring up a point,
Yeah.
and that's why I like these conversations, because at the end of the day, we don't know what Young Miami's situation is. And until it comes out, when you are around a monster, we will assume that the people around him are victims. And again, that's why I like having these conversations, because you really put it in focus. Both things could be true, none of them could be true. But at the end of the day, Diddy is the person we need to take down, and everything else will fall into place and the truth will be revealed. But when it comes to people around him, from Young Miami to his children to the thing, we need to offer grace, because,
Yes. That's it.
again,
That's all.
I would have
That's it.
never in a million years thought that Cassie and Diddy and Cassie was going through that. I would have never in a
That's what
million
I'm
years thought.
saying. It's like you
Yeah.
see it, you see the tape, and then you're like, oh, it just puts
Yeah.
a whole different spin on everything. So you don't know. You
No, but
don't
when the
know.
lawsuit hit, I remember like everyone else seeing them. They were the golden couple. She was so beautiful. They seemed so happy. They seemed like, and if somebody had told me back then, Cassie's going through hell, I'd have been like, what? Like,
Really?
if you
Right.
if you had
Hmm.
heard the blind item about this, most people wouldn't have believed it unless you were on like Lipstick Alley or like the old school 2000 blogs that would whisper about it. But you would have just
But
shrugged it
nobody
off and be,
believed it. And
yeah,
no
so
one and the people who had the platforms that we would have believed were quiet.
yeah,
So it's like, the to circle back to the why now, why now, why now? Because it finally is being believed. It's finally being taken serious. It's finally being heard, and he is finally weakened enough when it comes to his power,
yeah,
his status, his all the things, where there are people that
yeah.
feel brave enough to come forward. And so I'm just like, give people grace. Anybody that's
All
coming
right.
forward right now in the middle of this scary crap, give them
Yeah.
grace, because most people that are watching would never.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And we have to, even people associated with the monster, we need to realize that regardless of what front presents, there might be something completely going on. So we will give
Yeah,
the people around him a chance to tell their story in their time
exactly.
and just focus on taking on over Diddy. Let me get to, but again, that's why I like having these conversations, because you need somebody to just put things in perspective. And thank you for that. Really quick, let's get to some of these questions. Ren V, thank you so much for being a member for 5 months. She said, "Hey girl." Patricia L, thank you for being a member for 25 months. You've been in the beginning, since the beginning, and the camera quality has not gotten any better. You said, "Hey Tisa, keep telling us it all." Roz TM said, "That's attempted murking, and that has no time limit to report. You can still report it." Again, there are some things that have no time limit to report, but two, and I think Tiffany will co-sign this, I feel like if you come out there and put yourself out there and people are already looking for a reason to call you a liar, that didn't happen, it's kind of like, if you survived and you moved on, why do you want to re-traumatize yourself and then have yourself ripped apart on the stage? But what do you say to stuff like that, Tiffany?
I mean, like what you just said, it makes you a target until there's enough people on the other side where, because it's still we're dealing with survival,
Yeah,
like, and so it's like you're not gonna do something until you know that it's safe, or a little bit safer than it
yeah.
was, So yeah, I agree.
Even Cassie in that video, I can imagine how traumatizing it was, but also to the fact of and social media is the new town hall, you know? So I can
Mm-hmm.
imagine how scary it is to have to reveal this and then don't know whether you're going to be mocked, people calling you a liar, people making memes, people making jokes. Thank God the public opinion is moving in the right direction. But it's just a scary thing to even have to put yourself out there and see if people are going to support you. So again, it is attempted, but again, this might be a question for law enforcement. Like if you have, not even law enforcement, prosecutors, if you have evidence, why don't y'all move? Why don't y'all move? Because at the end of the day, your job is to take predators out of society. Yes, get
And
justice
it's
for the
them that press
individual
the
victim.
charges. And it's
Yes,
them that press the charges. That's not an individual. Like when people are like, "Why didn't you press charges?" You don't press charges. The state presses charges, right? Isn't that how it works?
exactly. That's exactly how it works because the state's
Yeah.
job is to keep predators out of the general population. You want justice for that victim, but sometimes if the victim says, no, I'm not going to, they'll still press charges because they're like, we can't be having murderers out here. We can't have abusers out here. So it is something where we look at our prosecutors and say, you need to do a better job and be more strict. Vicky says, Diddy is a disgusting waste of human time. I hope he gets a good taste of his own medicine. Would love to see Diddy and Suge sharing a cell together.
Wow.
KG. Yeah, KG. Thank you so much for being a member. L. Allen said, for you, Tisa and your moms, thank you so much for that super chat. Also, Nicole Harris said, Tisa, ask her about Wednesday. Did they sacrifice animals, sheep, lambs, goats? And why? And what religion did Diddy practice that sacrifice animals? Do you know anything about Diddy's religious practices or did you ever see anything?
No, I never seen
Yeah.
anything like that. No.
Okay. And do you know the Wednesday? Ask her about Wednesday.
What's
Did they,
Wednesday?
or is it witchcraft? Maybe they're talking about witchcraft. Santeria. No,
Mhm.
Santeria doesn't sacrifice animals, I don't think. Or is it
Mhm.
chickens? But you don't know anything about Diddy's religious practices. You've
No.
never. Okay. All
Mm-mm.
right. Prissy Poodle, thank you so much for gifting that membership. You guys say thank you to Prissy Poodle. Kat R. Paul said, so glad to catch the live and not catch the replay like I normally do. Love the work you do and your compassion. Welcome, Tiffany. My heart hurt when I saw your videos talking about how you were traumatized. Blessings. If you guys follow Tiffany on Instagram, she actually goes live. She talks about a lot of stuff. Tiffany, why don't you tell us your Instagram handle in case people want to follow
It
you right now?
it is I am Tiffany Red.
I am Tiffany Red on Instagram. Go ahead and follow her, you guys, and show her some support. Sunset, there's a signature energy you can't explain when you're surrounded by people who do this. You'll freeze. There's plenty of places along Wilshire to do this. That's so true. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
until you've been around, and maybe it's a blessing. They say that people that are maybe narcs or sociopaths, they say they're somewhere between 3 and 9% of the population. It is a blessing when you are not, and you have never been around that energy, so you don't understand. Because when you're retelling the story, you're like, well, did they grab you? And you're like, no, it was just some weird energy that it was flowing through you. So
Yeah.
definitely. Aram said, hi, Tisa. Tiffany Red seems like a good friend. She seems like a real good friend. I don't want Tiffany partying with me. Like, girl. Oh, so Jamie had a good thing. She actually said, let me just read this to you. She said, I love me some Tiffany. Wonder what her sign is. She's a protector, even when she's not covered. And I said, you're beautiful like a Gemini, but you got that mothering instinct of a Libra. What's your sign, Tiffany, if you want to share that with us?
I am a Capricorn. My birthday is Christmas
You
Eve,
know,
December 24th.
we should have known because Capricorn's got that mothering energy too, and y'all got that
Mm-hmm.
energy where it's like, no, 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 no,
Right.
no, no, no. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We about that.
Once you figure
I'm
out,
about it. Yeah.
okay. Well, Jamie, my girl Jamie is a big, big fan of yours. She just loves from the beginning when you first spoke your
Hey,
truth. Yeah. Aram,
Jamie.
listen, Aram says abusers also like to threaten you with hurting your loved ones if you leave or speak up. That is true too. That is true too. So it's like, yeah, you have to hold
Mm-hmm.
grace for the people you know. But like Tiffany said, even the people we don't hold grace. And I'm going to even say this to myself. We don't know what Young Miami's going through. We don't know whatever. And just because people have been silent, again, maybe they're still scared because I think that he's destined for jail, but the world is a crazy place and you never know. And like you said, a lot of people were enabling him and those people aren't being held accountable. So,
And look how the world treats the people who are not silent. You know, like it just is
exactly.
like, it drives me crazy when people are like, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you say anything? And then we have people in just in life in general who say something every single day and people don't believe them. It said
True.
that I saw something the other day that said the statistic on domestic violence, like an arrest, takes 4 times before that person is arrested usually. It's like you're not believed, you're not supported, the system doesn't support it. There's all these short statutes of limitations, so by the time you
Mhm.
finally heal enough to and find the courage, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? It just is like it's
Yeah,
all booby trapped. It's set up for you to fail.
it is. It is.
Hmm.
And you got to wonder why the system's set up like that. But you're right. It is set up that they want you to lose faith, lose hope, and just go away quietly. And even
And
it's
lose
funny, like,
money.
and lose
Lose
money.
money.
And
You
it's,
can't even fight. You can't even afford it. You can't. Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
And no. And I was going to say, it is funny that a lot of people in the industry that have come out kind of giving support to Diddy, it seems like their main excuse is either one, it happened so long ago, or two, well, everybody's doing it. And you're just like you said, upside down world. But I feel like they've been a part of the industry for so long. That's what they honestly feel like, girl, come on, you know, like
It's
somebody's
like the
trying to get
people back in
over.
the day. Like I'm sure when they were having the conversations in the 1920s about making it illegal to beat your wife, there were the people that were like, "This is BS. She shouldn't have been
Yes,
talking like that." And then there's the
yes,
people that are like, the people like us that are like, we are humans. We are,
yes.
and so it's like whenever there's things that are evolved that were the way that they were, like the music business has been trifling the whole time. So what do we that's why I'm so passionate about the work that I do, because I'm like, I'm
Mhm,
not leaving it the way that I found it. Because the thing is most of us come into the music industry young. Cassie was 19.
yeah.
I was 20. Most of my
Mhm,
friends that are in the business that I've known almost 20 years now, we all met 18, 19, 20, 21, 17, and so you get in this business and you make these big decisions, sign these record deals and these publishing deals and doing deals with all
yeah.
these people who who from the before you even walked in the door had the intention of robbing you, abusing you, confusing you, taking advantage of the things that you don't know. How you don't know
Mhm.
when you 20 years old walking in and signing a record contract, you're just excited that your song is all big or whatever, that this is what the person is. You don't know. No one knows what someone's gonna do until it happens, and so I don't know. I don't
No,
even know what
definitely.
made me think
No,
that, but
no, but you have a good point. To the point Son said, you're in their 20s. They want to hang out, not have FOs. Like again, you're walking into a wolf's den, and I think that's perfectly put, where people from the door have
that's
nefarious
that's the system.
intentions. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a system. B, thank you so much for the super chat. You said 10K watching, only 2.2 likes. If you guys are watching this on replay, please hit the like button. And yes, this is a phenomenal Tiffany Red. Also, Saya Marie, thank you so much for being a member. KB, thank you so much for the super sticker. Kay, thanks for being a member. Nicole Harris said, Diddy is 25 years older than Miami. She's a victim. You know what, Nicole Harris? She has to be. I just pray that she's not, but you're
I
right.
pray
If you
she's not
look at the
either.
evidence, yeah, if you look at the evidence and you look the way he was, and even how the cycle continues, that you and Cassie were watching a video with Gina Hun that she could come and speak her story, and you're like, maybe this is it. And then it's just completely covered
And
and
it
a
was
media
silent.
blackout. Yeah.
Silent. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we just need to run as far as we can from this man. Just get you out of this deal and let's just get away.
Exactly. Also, CLB, thank you so much for the super chat. Trey Day, thank you so much. All day, thanks for becoming a member. KG said, did Cassie co-sign you speaking out? Does Diddy still have Ron Burkle's billionaire support? will we hear from Little Kim or Mary J. Blige? Can you address any of that?
I can't actually. I
Okay,
can't.
that's fair.
Yeah, I can't
Just to
speak
let
on
you
that.
guys know, they are in the middle. There's a lot of lawsuits and things going on in the background. Some of it is criminal, some of it is civil. Civil is the way we complain about, oh my God, the statute of limitations. How come they didn't press criminal court? Civil is the way that citizens can still get justice. And I will stand, these people only care about power and money. And if you take away their money, you take away their power. And if you
Their
take away their
power.
power, that's how you destroy them. I want
Absolutely.
Tiffany to be as open as possible, but not in any way to jeopardize any justice on either side that might be coming for the victims and coming against Diddy. So anything about Cassie co-signing, speaking out, she can't speak on that. She is neither confirming nor denying. Does Diddy still have Ron Burkle billionaire support? We don't know, but I know Ron Burkle is
I don't even know Ron
godfather.
Burkle.
Yeah, so
I don't
he's
know him.
godfather to some of Diddy's children. So we'll see what happens with that. And will we be hearing from Little Kim or Mary J. Blige? You know, at the end of the day, Little Kim and Mary J. Blige have seen some things. That is going to have to be their choice to come forward. Everybody tells their truth if they ever decide to tell the truth on that, because it's literally asking, are you going to re-traumatize yourself? Do you feel the need?
Yeah, like
Sometimes,
these are like that's why I keep saying like remember that people are human beings. Like your requests, our expectations of these people. It's like, you know, I understand the desire. You know, there's a
mhm,
plenty of people that I, you know, wonder what they think about this, but I know from being somebody that's vocal about it, like that's nowhere near a Mary J. Blige or a, you know, a Little Kim. The
yeah.
level of the instant level of just attention people think, you know, it just, you know, unfortunately, like I really think that people being celebrity is very dehumanizing. um and fame and celebrity is really dehumanizing. Money is dehumanizing. um you know, and I think that people forget, like, listen, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's so
I
funny. Go on.
yeah, no, go ahead.
No, to the point of dehumanizing, somebody just sent me something that Shaka Khan's daughter actually commented under Diddy's video. And to your point, she said, I'm glad this is happening to you. You got in my mother's face and publicly disrespected her, yelling and
Mhm,
screaming like a lunatic. To your
mhm.
point, when my little brother tried to get you out of my mother's face, your security jumped on him. She actually made a huge tweet outlining what's going on. So it's kind of like you said, you gotta have sympathy, you gotta have patience. And now that it's amassing numbers, people are starting to actually come out with their
Yeah,
own
you're
stories. So
safer. You're safer
yeah,
now. You're not by yourself. You
yeah,
know, you're safer. And not only are you safer, the most credible person that could have ever come forward and have been believed is the person that came forward, you know, like it didn't work with Gina. She
yeah,
tried and people didn't believe her, people didn't hear her, you know. It was like it didn't tick enough boxes for the public, for
yeah.
people to have the compassion, empathy, all the things, and really consider what it is that she was saying, you know. So yeah.
Definitely. Rhonda Lee, thank you so much for the super sticker. I know you got to go, Tiffany. We're going to get through these questions and
Yeah,
get you
I'm
out of here.
starving, I gotta go eat.
Okay, listen, give me 10 more minutes. Let's get 8 more minutes. We're gonna
Okay.
get you through this. Monique Ellen, thank you so much for gifting the memberships. Jacqueline, thank you again for that generous super chat. Miss America VW, thank you for becoming a member. CLB, thank you for gifting a membership again. Ariam Riviera, thank you so much for becoming a member. My G Spot said, thank you, Tisa, for keeping us updated on topics. Diddy, Drake, Kate Middleton. You're welcome, my G. We also have Adil Hamid said, thank you, Tisa, for all that you do. You're a true freedom fighter. Keep fighting for good. Respect, love from Florida. And listen, we all bow down to you, Tiffany, because you are actually walking it like you talk it. And the things that you've been fighting against for years, you have codified, and you're actually making a path to make sure, even if you can save one less person from the music industry, you're making a path for them to walk. Walk on Open Book says, thank you for sharing, Tiffany. We also have Mikkel Wren said, can he use her name? I don't know if he can use her name. I think Tiffany actually owns her name, whatnot. Worth TV said, keep speaking truth to power. Dud Legendary said, victims take on the shame of abusers. Should take on the shame that abusers should take on. Secrets, delete, and all friends aren't on your side. They envy the trinkets. Tiffany Red, you are 110 toes down. That is true. She couldn't be bought. And that's why she got pushed out, because she couldn't be bought. Because if you guys don't know, Tiffany is a very, very talented songwriter. If she had played the game, I'm sure she probably would have gotten on the whole bad boy clicked up, doing this and that.
I would have been on
You know,
everything.
you would have been on everything. She is talented. BG, thank you so much for the super chat. Veronica Very, thank you so much. Also, Miss Wendy Will, thank you for the super sticker. B, thank you so much. This is a link right here. It's in the chat stream for the 100%ers. Please go join, support, do everything you can. Hibiscus Rose said, thank you, Tiffany, for taking something horrible and making a positive change. And thank you so much, Hibiscus Rose, for those sweet things. Macy's Girl said, I just own a small business. It's a film production company. Right now, I don't have employees. But when I do, what do I need to do to be part of these incentives? Tiffany.
To be a part of what, the 100%ers?
So she owns a small businesses. So if she wants to sign to the pledge to show that she doesn't have any employees now, but
well, yeah. I mean, whether you have employees or not, like, you can set the tone and, you know, create what you want your company culture to be, whether you have employees yet or not. You can absolutely take the Safe Music Business Pledge, go to the 100%ers.com. You'll see a banner at the very top that says Safe Music Business Initiative. You see the pledge right there, and you can sign it, and yeah, we'll add your company's name to the pledge.
and that's a great thing, because once the database is already big, but once it builds up, it really will be a huge, I think in 5 years, this will be such a huge resource that you'll also start looking at who to do business with, which way to do it, and as
and who
new
not.
artists,
That's the goal. Exactly.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So thank you so much. No, please. Santonia Smith said, I'm so proud of both these beautiful women. Alaquandra Glover said, thanks, Tees and Tiffany, for sharing your platforms. Yes, many thank you, Tiffany, for coming on.
Of course.
Oh, thank you. GK70, thank you so much for the membership. It's Bree to you said, hi, Tees and Tiffany. Oh, they asked, do you know a young woman named Erica Kennedy?
No, Erica Kennedy.
She was a writer. I think she's before your time.
Okay.
She's probably like 10. I think she's more Kim Porter's age, so she's definitely before your time. GK, thank you so much for the sweet compliments. Again, for another super chat, we're doing an amazing job. The homegirl here has said, big T's and not the little one. And thank you, beautiful Tiffany, for bravely sharing your story. Willett Teller, thank you so much for becoming a member. Also, Miss Pittsburgh, thank you so much. Oh, Butter wants to know, do you believe the Justin Bieber rumors?
Kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like from what you told me.
Like, I don't know what happened, you know, but I mean, at this point, like,
anything.
yeah.
I know what you're saying. It's the same way you feel.
But also just like, I think from the circumstances too, like, you know, if the person that you are assigned to sends you to go work with this person, like, I can see how, like, the power dynamics. He was a kid too, so I mean, who knows? I at this point, I wouldn't put anything past anyone. So yeah, I don't know. Well,
yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that type of power to corrupt, and we all know from your colleague that has to eat predators, Alexis, again, children are even focused on more. So again, we pray it's not true, but at this point, anything in this industry is
Who
tracking.
knows? Yeah.
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 You just
Mhm.
pray, honestly, at a point, you're just like, I hope not.
I
Mel
hope
Bethel said,
not.
hi.
Yeah.
Okay. It said it's Tiffany's audio. We've resolved that. Thank you. Oh, and she said that she'll be contributing to your SMB organization. So congratulations. And you guys, if you can
Thank
contribute,
you.
support, do what you can, because we say we want to change, and we have a young woman that Tiffany's making a change. And to Tiffany's credit, as soon as she got the green light that it was clear to go out there and actually try to make a difference and help other victims and even help speak on Cassie's truth, she took that chance. So it takes a lot. You are in the industry. I'm sure that, people aren't happy about it, but thank God that you have the courage. Thank you so much, Jessica Taylor, for catching the live from it. From Australia, Nina Love said, did Tidal sign on the SMB initiative? Also, do you have anything in place to help new artists review and navigate contracts to avoid unfair or bad deals?
No, Tidal did not sign on to it.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I don't know if we can get Tidal to. I don't know.
Wait, hold on really quick.
So I don't want to say.
Really quick, your audio was just breaking up a little bit. You started off by saying Tidal has not signed, but to be fair, what was that?
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, they haven't signed, but to be fair, I'm not quite sure if we engaged them or not on this.
Okay.
So I don't want to say like we sent it to them and they didn't, so but no, they didn't. And as far as go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as far as like wanting to see a difference, Tiffany is doing everything she can. People from the Safe Music Business initiative is doing. You might also, if you guys are in the comment sections for UMG, for your favorite artist, for Tidal or whatnot, and you see a point to like leave a review, leave a comment. There are whole segments of highly paid people to pay attention to that. Start asking, have you signed the Safe Music Business Pledge? If you see a producer,
Absolutely.
are your artists signing it? Are you on? Start dropping it in the comments. Are you a part of the SMB initiative, the Safe Music? But start actually dropping comments, asking everywhere you can. And if enough people start making noise, they'll start listening and start doing what they can. So we can also push the safety on our own when we get the chance,
Absolutely.
Also, sorry to interrupt you. Do you have anything in place to help new artists review and navigate contracts to avoid unfair or bad deals?
We don't have, I wouldn't say we help review contracts. I'd advise you to go seek legal counsel for that. We help with getting royalties if you're, if you can't get to somebody at the company that owes you money, we'll reach out to the companies we have relationships with, that kind of stuff. We'll, get people out of archaic publishing contracts and those kind of things. But we don't give legal advice. We're not entertainment attorneys. So I would advise that you to seek out legal counsel if you need some help with your contract.
But you never know. It's still early with the pledge. You never know. You guys actually might get some entertainment lawyers to start working pro bono. But
listen,
definitely,
once we have that, when we have that, I mean, that's my dream. My dream is for this thing to be fully staffed and for it to be like, you need what? We got like, we run out of resources constantly. I wish I had billions of dollars to give everybody, and all the things to incentivize people to those lawyers that you're talking about to come in and offer their support. So I hope they come. Cisa, I hope you manifesting them for me.
Listen, they're coming. If you guys know any entertainment lawyers, please, again, this is how things get. It's an idea that's organized and then people actually support. We're almost done with you, Tiffany. I know you got to go. One Kids Festival said, to Tiffany's point, Young Miami and Gina could both have Stockholm Syndrome. The desire for affection from your abuser is a real thing in some victims. That is true. That is true. Adore Film said, thank you so much. Said, thank you, ladies, for your courage and speaking up. When women come together and speak up, it saves lives. Many blessings. Mixed Shift Samantha said, I didn't see the whole live, but I'll definitely rewatch. Great job again. Prayers for you, Tiffany. You are a very strong woman. B, thank you so much for this. She's also dropping Tiffany's IG. I am Tiffany Red on Instagram. Please click on the link and support. Capricorn woman, your brethren. Capricorn woman 67 said, I knew Tiffany was a Capricorn. I'm one too. Capricorns, y'all just be recognizing each other. You walk in and you're like, Capricorn. Exactly. Vita says, Cassie was blank trafficked. Here and overseas, RICO charges have no statute of limitations. Abuse can include. Cuddy was too afraid to speak about the bombing. Exactly. And everybody in the music industry knew it, but as a general public, we never suspected. I do believe and I pray that justice is coming. The feds, as much as they've been on this, they seem like they think justice is coming too. Black people will prosper said, it's a shame old Diddy is going down and not a record executive who gave him the money to throw those parties. Yeah.
I like completely lost you. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Okay, so Black people will say, oh, okay. So Tiffany, we lost Tiffany, but let's keep going through these super chats. Okay, thanks, guys. Let's see. Monique Easton said, my girl, I'm a Capricorn. She's still, we're having technical differences, but she's still offline, hanging in there. She said, my girl, I'm a Capricorn and my birthday is Christmas Eve. Shout out to Tiffany Red. Faith, thank you so much. Also, Winona Morella, thank you so much. Dawn Brazil. Oh, here we go. Tiffany right here. Let's add her to the stage. Hey, what's up? You missed your Capricorn shout out. Okay, so Black people will... No. We'll go through them real quick. Give me 5 more minutes, girl. We're almost there. She said, it's a shame. So Black People Prosper said, it's a shame Diddy will go down and not record the executive and not the record executives that gave him the money to throw these parties. I mean, their time is coming. Monique Easton said, my girl, I'm a Capricorn and my birthday is Christmas Eve. Shout out to Tiffany Red. Faith. Yes. Yeah. Faith. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Also, Winona Morella, thank you so much for becoming a member. Dawn Brazil says the government needs to create regulations on the business aspect. Any money that can be generated by record labels, that's what needs to be done to control the power from these companies and power to artists. I agree. I think it's not a fluke. I think it's an actual feature. It's not a bug, but it's a feature of what's going on in the industry.
I want to say to that, they're intentional with who they give money and power to. You know,
tell us about that.
Well, I mean, I just think that, like, you know, they're intentional with who they give money to. Like, it's like, are they giving money to somebody that like wants to rebuild their communities and do all that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, is this going to support us or is this going to help us? Is this like, you know, they give us money. They fund the stuff that kills your brain cells. They fund the music that is about all these terrible things, the things that, you know what I mean? It's like darkness. They fund darkness. And so these companies, I was having this conversation the other day and I was telling a record company, I was like, you know, y'all need to really start to get more intentional with who you are bringing into the room. Period. You know, and until you know what I mean? It's like, if this person is, if we've heard the whispers, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? Like within the industry, it's just like, you know, if you were in corporate, if somebody's gone to HR about the same person 5 times, at some point you start looking at the company like, what are we doing? Like I used to always think about that with Puff, with the whole Steve Stout situation, because from what I know, I believe it happened at Interscope. And I just was always like, how could they ever? I remember when Cassie was signed to Interscope, and I always like looking back on it now, I'm just like, how would they ever do business with him again after what he came into their building and did? Those are the kind of things that I'm talking about, where it's just like, you can't say you didn't know. There was people in the office. There was a whole thing. He was arrested. All kind of stuff happened. And so it's like, we have to be intentional with who it is that we invest in and we empower, because everybody's plans are not the same, you know?
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but the Steve Stout incident was what Diddy got in an argument with Steve Stout. At that point, he was a huge record exec at Interscope, which was under Universal Music Group. He walked
Mhm.
into a crowded office, went to Steve's office, and brutally beat him with a chair, a phone, I think even a
With
bottle.
help, with security. He had people with him.
Did he? I didn't know that part.
Yeah, from what I've read, they say that it was
Yeah,
more. It was, yeah. He could went up in there with multiple people, but like those are things where it just is like, so why is his picture not up in the office as someone we will never do business with again? You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
But it's like the
Yeah.
money and the power because he's a cash cow. That's why they didn't do it.
That's what get away to your point.
Yep.
Gene Johnson, thank you so much for becoming a member. Also, we have I appreciate you feeling the Wendy Williams. He telling the truth. Thank you so much. Mars said, do you think Jay-Z knew about how Diddy was treating Cassie? This is from Mars PMW.
I don't know. I have no
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, I don't know what his relationship is with. I've never been around him. I've never seen him around to know.
Mhm.
So I'm from my own
Gotcha.
personal experience. So I don't know.
Okay, that's fair enough. Let's said the LADA said nothing he can do with the statute of limit since the statute of limitations is up. He's pointing the finger at LAPD being corrupt AF. Uh, Listen, something was going on there. I don't know if it's corruption because you still around LA, so we don't want you getting stopped when you don't need to. But there is something that's up. There's so many incidences involving Diddy, and somehow he was just left to go on about his business. Somehow,
No
yeah.
biggie.
No
Hmm.
biggie, right? No biggie. It
Hmm.
happens. So Chena said, hi, Tisa. Tiffany, thank you for speaking out. Do you think the other abusers will start to be exposed as well? And do you think the industry will ever change?
Yes and yes. I believe. Like that is my motto in life. I believe, every things have to change.
Yeah.
We watch evolution every single day. They're changing right now as we speak because of this incident. Um, and so yeah, and I do believe that more predators are being exposed. I mean, because of the Adult Survivors Act, there were a lot of music industry power players that were exposed for sexual harassment, assault, misconduct, all
Yeah.
these things. So I mean, we're in the middle of it. It's happening right now, and I think it wouldn't surprise me if through this whole process with Puff, if people are exposed who have dealt with him and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's definitely going to change. It's changing.
Definitely. Also, Angie Vasquez, she says, Tiffany, you are a warrior of life. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Angie. Sonia C says Islam sacrifices goats. I don't know about that. I know plenty of Muslims. I don't know. I don't know about that. Taniki Brown, shout out to all the nurses out there that doing what you do. She said, "Hey Tisa, who's the feds? Wait, who's the feds when we got you? Who needs to sit in the courtroom when we got you? The devil got a purpose, but God has a plan." Yes, and shout
Yeah.
out to the nurses. Mary Quinnen, thank you so much for becoming a member. Also, Winona Morella, thank you so much for the super sticker. In um in No Cap Mac says, does Cassie have any of Kim's manuscripts? I already know you can't speak on that, but go ahead and tell us.
I mean, I don't know.
She don't know, but even if she did, she
No,
couldn't speak on that.
but I don't
Dread
know.
Yeah, okay. So
Uh,
no J, Cat Max, she does not know. Dread Mega says, Tisa, Tiffany, Title Tells, got your back. You know we go hard. Real chicks do real things. Thank you so much. Also, Truth Saber said, I know a man who looks just like Sean and acts like him too. The American Black community is full of pimps like Sean. Y'all already know. I will say one thing, right? Because I know people are trying to turn this into a black and white issue. I think there are abusers in every
every
aspect
yes,
wherever there's money and power, from these
yes.
businessmen to music, rock, rap, country, all the way back again, all the way sometimes, unfortunately, into the White House, politics, and whatnot. It is just something that when people have power, you must hold them accountable before it starts running away. You
And I
know?
just want to add to that too that like this country was founded on violence,
Yeah.
raping and pillaging, right? Like it's
Yeah.
it's violent, and so it's not a black thing, a white thing, a Hispanic thing. It's a predator thing. And I really challenge people to look at this, try to think a little bit more critically about the community, because I think
Yeah.
we pedestal this one person, because, and it's only because they have money. That's it. That we
Yeah,
only
that's it.
value them. But that's what I'm saying. It's like everything is tied to it's America, capitalism, violence, all the things. It's like, you pedestal this person, but the reality is they are just a man, period.
Yeah. They are
Mhm.
just a man, and that is it. We're almost to the finish line, Tiffany. Thank you so much. Open book, thank you so much for the super sticker. And I will say, it's everything. They're just a man. But again, if Diddy, and this is my opinion, if he thinks he is going to hide behind they're trying to destroy black billionaires, Diddy, try again.
No,
Like, no, as a
no.
black community, we are not letting predators hide in our community. And I think every community is feeling that same way. You're not hiding behind
And it
us.
poisons our community. It harms
Yes,
the people in our community. And the people that are being harmed matter. Not just the people with
yes,
the money. The people who are being harmed matter. They need to be protected. There is a power dynamic that is intense, and that is why they need to be protected. And yeah, like
yeah.
I hate
Definitely.
I hate money. Money has just corrupted everybody. Just ruined everything.
There
Sorry, go
should be
ahead.
a wealth cap. No, we could talk about that economics all day. There should be a wealth cap. There should be a wealth cap. Also,
Yeah.
Christian Frames wants to know, where is Jonathan Adi? I am going to do a video about that. She's like, who's Jonathan Adi? I'll fill you
I
in.
know who Jonathan Nadi is.
Oh, you do. Do you have
I don't
thoughts on
personally know him, but I
that?
know
I
who,
know, but
like,
do you have thoughts on that?
oh, no, oh, do I have thoughts on it?
Yeah.
It's a fantastic example of not being believed. The package, oh, he's crazy. Is he?
When he predicted what was going on 10 years, and even with the private jets and all that other mess that the feds are now investigating. Exactly. He sounded crazy when he was like, and naming
Because
names.
it is crazy. But
It
that's
is.
my thing. I feel like it's always so shocking when you say what happened. But the craziness is not what you did. The craziness is what happened, right? So that's why like going back to the statistics, 1 in 3 for domestic violence, 1 in 4 for SA. Where is all this shock coming from? What are y'all talking about? What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
It's like I think it's shocking that someone said it. I think that's what's shocking. Like,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, I think Jonathan Adi is a perfect example of not being believed. It's like we have a very narrow window of who we take serious. And if we
Yeah.
were taking more people serious, this whole, because people have already said it. Jonathan Adi said it. Gina Huynh said it. The UCLA thing happened. The Steve Stout thing happened. People are not listening and they're not activating. And so it's like, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. I pray that he's okay, man.
And Jonathan Adi actually said it to the police. And they were like, yeah, 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 yeah. But he said
They
it to
were
the
talking over
police.
him, trying to just get him for it to be, oh, you see what I'm saying? But it's just
Exactly.
like, and
He
it
talked
just is
about,
like,
yeah. It makes you, yeah, we hope he's okay wherever he's
I
at, but
hope
it
he's
does
okay.
give
Yeah.
you, yeah, and he does give you cause to pause. Also, Auntie Penelope, thank you so much for the super trigger. Well, Willette says, Tisa, thanks for integrity. Tiffany, thank you for your courageous action to share this important information. Again,
Absolutely.
many thanks. Sonia C. Love said, is Diddy a Muslim? Muslims do not sacrifice goats. Anyway, X2D Logic, thank you so much for becoming a member for 2 months. Said, in our community, it is expected that DV and SA will happen to you. This generational trauma has been normalized, not anymore. Thank you. I think because we're
Absolutely.
Black, yeah, we speak to our communities, but I think honestly, there's a lot of communities where you're expected, like you said, the shame, expected to be quiet, just go away. And again, this generational trauma is normalized and no more. it's no more. Punky Six said, with all this evil in the world, how's it been for y'all mental health? I personally dealt with an awful individual, but thankfully he was broke. So a demon with money sounds terrifying. How long did
Mm.
it take you to recover your mental health from that?
I mean, it's a journey, like from the very beginning of all of it, it's been traumatizing. I got into therapy in 2018.
Mm.
Like, and that was like the beginning of me like starting to really like sit with myself and my therapist and unpack, what is this? Why do I feel like this? What is, but I'm in a way better place now, which is, I think that's another really important point, is when people have the chance to heal and do the work, it like that's what allows me the strength to sit here with you and talk about this and not be throwing up and be, I've gone through all of
Yeah.
that already. I've gone through, the anxiety and the panic attacks and the, I mean, I've experienced suicidal ideations, like all of it. It's been
Oh, wow.
rough. It's been a long journey. But I have a lot of love around me. I have a lot of support around me. I have a lot of people who believe in me. I have a life that is so rich, so beyond all of this stuff. So beyond music. It's not all that I do. There's not all that I talk about. It's a small part of my life.
Yeah.
And so yeah, my mental health is in a good place now.
I'm glad to
Despite
actually have
all of
that.
this, like despite all of
Despite,
this, like it's yeah, because it's heavy. I mean, it's definitely like a heavy lift. This is like, it's intense, like coming forward, speaking, and then even with like the media, oh my goodness, like the media is all just like scary, So
yeah.
shout out to my therapist and to my parents and to my
Yeah.
siblings and to my nieces and to my friends and the people who love me and lift me up and support me, um, and have me in a place where I'm strong enough to sit in front of y'all.
Well, thank you to all of them and also to yourself, Tiffany. Like, you are a survivor, a warrior, and you are a very, very, very good friend. Very good
Thank
friend.
you.
Jared Van Nugen says Drake, Jay-Z, then Lucian. Listen, I do think that the one thing that's coming out, if anybody's doing any wrongdoing, baby, people are coming out slowly and opening their mouths. So we'll see. Again, the truth always comes out eventually. Purple Bandit
Mhm.
79, thank you so much for becoming a member. Imp, thank you so much for the EMP. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Royal Consulting Co. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Vita says, did Kid Cudi agree for Cassie to put the car incident in the court records?
I don't know.
And she can't speak on that anyway. Marsha P, I'm telling you, you can't speak on that.
But
Marsha
I'm like, I
P,
don't know. I'm not Cassie. I don't know what she did.
but even if you did, it's like she can't speak on that. Marsha P, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey there, love. Thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Caramel Crescent, do you think Diddy will run to Bali? From your interaction with Diddy, you knew him for about a year or two. What do you think his next move is?
Honestly, I really don't know. Like, I don't think that he's gonna run. I don't think that.
Yeah. Why not?
No,
Why?
his ego. He's like, I'm not running. I'm not scared of y'all. That's why I feel like that's what I see when I see him in those photos. Like that last photo that was just posted of
Uh-huh.
him walking around in Miami,
Yeah.
with those two guys. Like that was what I saw. Smoking a cigar. Like I just
That
feel
was
like,
weird
yeah,
optics.
like I just feel
Like,
like, what are you celebrating? What you smoking a
yeah,
cigar? But I mean,
I
like I just,
never seen a sad person smoke a cigar in my life,
yeah,
or
like
even a
cigars.
nervous
I usually
person.
aren't cigars for celebrations. Like I don't know.
Yes.
It
No,
just
or when
feels.
you're chilling, like it's just not.
It just is very. So I say that to say that I don't think that he's gonna run because of that energy. Like I feel like when I think about him, I think about like somebody like John Gotti, like,
Okay.
and how. Sorry, I got something in my eye and it is
No, take your
killing
time.
me. I think about somebody like John Gotti and how flashy,
Hmm.
in your face, like going to court, taunting just like I think he's gonna be Puff Daddy. Like I just
You
think
know
I
what?
don't, like I just don't think that he's gonna. I think he gonna run. He got kids. He not running. I think that
Oh,
his.
hold on. Wait, hold on. And what? Sorry.
No, I was saying I just don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Just based off of his behavior already, like he just show, he continues to show us like I'm not scared of y'all. I'm not. Like even when people were starting to be like, with the apology, where's he at? He was like, I'm in Miami. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know who his PR people are. I'm like, no, no, no. Yeah, that's what people are like, where's he at? I'm in Miami
He
smoking a
outside.
cigar.
He
Yeah,
outside.
smoking a cigar. And one of the girls that I forget her name that Cassie used to be cool with, right? They used to hang out. Cassie had scrubbed her feet from it, but one of the guys that he was standing next to was one of the girls that was one of Cassie's friends. It was just weird, like mental games. Like,
Oh,
did he give it a rest?
Los.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Cassie had scrubbed her page of her a long time ago, but it was just really interesting. Like,
I've
did
worked
he?
with him before, actually. Los.
Oh, really?
I did me and him did when we were working on Empire on Fox. Me and him did a song called, I think it's called Ibiza. We did a song on, maybe it
Yeah.
was like season 6 of he wrote the rap part for the rapper that was on the show.
Oh, Bashir. So, okay. And how was, well, we can get into that. I know you don't want to pull extra people in, but
Yeah.
it's just weird the optics that Diddy is trying to pull off. And still, after you apologize, you still playing mind games. It's just weird to me. It's weird, Mocha says, Tiffany, what are your thoughts on what Kim Porter's friends said about Cassie and how she behaved while Diddy flaunted her in front of Kim?
I don't know anything about that. What happened? I haven't heard that story.
I don't know. I don't know exactly. I know that there's somebody that's claiming to be Kim Porter's friend, and I know
Okay.
there was a little overlap between Cassie and Kim Porter. I will say that, like, in the beginning, of course, there's overlap because Diddy is a master manipulator. There was a little bumping heads, but eventually it seemed like they both realized that, they weren't each other's enemy and that there was something bigger going on. But yeah, with the Kim Porter stuff, I think Cassie and Kim Porter, and the way Diddy always overlooks, even with Gina Han and Cassie, and then Dana Tran with Young Miami, it seems to be a master manipulator.
He's not a monogamous person.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but like a lot of these women were young when they met him, and so a lot of these women are already groomed and manipulated and going through the things, and so I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know about this particular situation, but I mean, as far as the overlap is concerned, it's like
That's Diddy. That's Diddy.
That's what I'm saying. What you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. What you gonna do? Tracy Sexy Juicy Lime Muffin said, my friend was a receptionist during the Steve Stout incident, and it was brutal and vicious, and nobody did anything to stop it. Wow. Yeah, I heard about what happened with that. Fran Cool said, T said, doesn't the doctors who treated Cassie have an obligation to report possible abuse on behalf? Can they be held accountable? Now, interestingly enough, domestic violence laws have changed greatly even in the last decade. I do believe when the Cassie incident happened, doctors had no legal responsibility or even ethical responsibility to report mental abuse. Physical abuse. I think now if they see something, they need to either report it or bring a counselor if there's one at the hospital. But back then there was no legal obligation. You came in with a black eye, you tripped. You came in with a busted face. Okay, well, you tripped again. And that's just what it was. Kay said, my message disappeared when you were talking. Oh, sorry about that. He telling the truth said statute of limitations on domestic, but what about poisoning drinks? Attempted for maybe. To you guys' point, that's all the stuff that the feds are looking into, because that will play into trafficking a trafficking situation, plying people, kidnapping, like the whole thing of what blank trafficking actually is, the feds will address that. So just because the local LA prosecutors are like, I don't know what to do. There's no proof.
Right.
Doesn't mean the feds. We don't need to look for LA to say, no shade to LA. We don't need to look for them to save us, because I don't think they were really much doing anything with Puffy the first time. The feds are, the feds are here. The feds are here. Yeah. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I don't even trust them to try the case. Let's let the people that brought down Ghislaine Maxwell, El Chapo, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the Homeland Security Investigations Unit, they'll hold him accountable,
Mhm.
Mixed Chief Samantha said, not sure if anyone asked, but how do you feel about Drake, Tiffany?
I feel disappointed.
Mm.
I feel disappointed. I'm definitely a fan of Drake's music. I did a whole EP called Drake. I reimagined a couple of his records, turned it into a jazz rendition. It's dope.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm a fan of his music for real. However,
Yeah.
if the things that are being alleged turn out to be true, I mean, there goes that. But yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed even in some of the ways that he handled, this stuff. I didn't really love that slavery line. I feel like, that bothered me.
Girl.
Yeah, just was like read the room, but also just like I think it really showed you how disconnected he actually is. And
But
that
he
part
didn't
really just,
realize.
yeah, and he's the biggest rapper in the world. That
Yeah.
the biggest rapper in the world would say that, but this is what I mean when I say the system is intentional with who they empower. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That part.
and thank God we have Kendrick to put us on game and be like, actually, you double down on calling us this. Let me put y'all on game and talk to y'all about why I, feel this way. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's disappointing.
definitely.
Disappointing.
Chris, definitely disappointing. Crystal Cove, we only have 5 more comments. Crystal Cove said, did Diddy's bodyguards ever harass any of the ladies in your friend group? Did he send them out to intimidate any of you? Please stay safe. Thank you so much, Crystal Cove.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And also, you guys, there are legal things going on in the background. So, the same way you guys are watching this live, I can imagine Diddy's legal team is watching the live too, looking for any little thing they can pull up and be like,
Hey, Jonathan Davis. Hey, y'all.
hey,
Hey.
Jonathan Davis.
You know who I am. Hey.
Royal Consulting Group. Thank you so much for the super chat. It's about the loss at Tisa. Did you hear anything about Drake's stage at the Pow Pow at his mansion? I'll do a video about that. I have been hearing stuff about that, but something's going on with Drake. But again, keep in mind with the Drake, what Tiffany said. Drake has a contract where he will make 400 million. Imagine how much he's making the music industry. They are not going to let a cash cow go just like that.
Just
So
easy. Yeah, no.
yeah, it just doesn't happen. DJ Chippy said, thank you, Tisa, for being so vigilant. I hope Diddy will go down for being responsible for the early demise of Biggie, Tupac, and Kim Porter. Also, Free Lunch Freddy said, anybody want to be an artist who don't have to worry about the executive producer being on the hotel videos, running in the hallway with a towel, acting a fool, abusing women, being a manipulator, don't sign with Diddy Row. Exactly. Like,
Period.
I think do you think, let me read these 2 last questions, then I'm going to give you one last question before we go. Lion Mom said about a year ago, he accepted an award and he gave special thanks to Cassie and Kiss to Camber. I could tell that was a taunt evil. What did you feel about that moment?
Ooh, that pissed me off. It pissed me off. It just was like, really? Really?
Yeah.
Like, it felt like, to me, it just felt like a message, like him letting her know, like, I can always bring you up when I want to. I can always say whatever. I can always, Then also, what he said specifically, thank you to Cassie for being with me through the dark times. Now in his
Yeah.
thing, he's like, these were the darkest times. It was a dark time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so, I think, same thing with that song, Homecoming, where CC, I miss you. Bring the
That was so,
kids, you want her to bring the kids to that? What we see on that tape, that's what you think that she gonna bring her girls to? Are
But
you kidding?
it reminds
There's
me of what he did with Kim Porter and everybody else. To my opinion, looking from the outside, he dogged Kim Porter
He
out.
dogged her
But
out.
then
He
all of a
did.
sudden, tweets passes, and she's the love of your life. Oh my God, crying like
Press
he was
run.
gonna.
Well, because
Yeah.
it's a if you look at the first time he got his first number one, it was right after Biggie died. It was that every
Oh,
step I take, that song
yeah.
came out. And it's like, he uses those moments to like stand on top of, and then everyone's like, oh my
Mhm.
God, poor him.
Yeah,
Poor,
I
poor
remember that
him.
moment. People were like, "Oh my God, he still loves Cassie," and the whole time he knew she fled. She fled him as soon as she could. So
And it's
yeah.
to me, it's continued harassment. Him continuing to, she got away from him. She's married, she has children, she wants nothing to do with you. And
Mhm.
you know that, and you know why. So to, be talking to her through music, to be talking to her through award shows, to be doing anything to taunt her, it's just is uncalled for. So, I mean, to me, I feel like that moment on that BET stage was um harassment.
It was. I agree with you. Titileo Smith said, "Any more thoughts on that medallion Diddy was wearing that had a picture of him and his deceased father? I believe it was a message about what happens to snitches."
Mm. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Or maybe he
Well,
just got a picture of his parents on him because he's going through a lot, and he just wants them closer. I mean, it could be a myriad of reasons. Who knows? But like, regardless,
Definitely, regardless. Really quick, one sad Caroline, thank you so much for becoming a member. And Fran said, Tisa, let me make my last name easy for you. Can't see you. Thank you, Fran. Can't see
Mhm.
you. Now, listen, let's go back. This is the last question. Free Lunch Freddie, right? He was making a joke, but to the point was being a manipulator, don't sign with Diddy Row. Do you ever see Diddy coming back from this? Or do
No,
you ever see artists wanting to work with him?
the industry is spooked. People don't want nothing to do with it. People don't want it near them. They don't want it on their name. They don't know. No, 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 no. I think the only people that will be engaging with him from here are the people that are wrapped up in the crap with him. I don't think that
Mm,
from here somebody new. No,
yeah,
it's over. People are scared of him. He's scary.
yeah,
Anybody working with him, I think it's a wrap. I think it is over. And please, making music is the last thing he needs to be worried about. Like, you know, mm,
literally.
yeah.
Because if anybody, to Free Lunch Freddy's point, if anybody signed with Diddy, they'd be like, girl, he like
Now you
he was the
know,
hotel
right?
video,
You
running in
know,
the hallway, abusing,
yeah.
being a manipulator. No, no, no. So you're right. Now we know. Listen, Tiffany, thank you. I know I said it was just gonna be an hour. Thank you
It's all
so
good.
much. Thank you so much for staying here, answering questions. You guys, if you're watching this on playback, I will be putting links in the description box. And once again, before we go, Tiffany, you are a warrior. And I see why you are a songwriter because, girl, you can tell a story. I can listen to you all
Oh, really?
day.
Thank
Yeah, you
you.
can tell a story. I see where the songwriting comes out. Um, Listen, really quick before we go, why don't you just tell everybody your socials one more time? And then I will have everything in the description box.
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram at I am Tiffany Red. Follow the 100 percenters on Instagram at the 100 percenters underscore. If you go on TikTok, follow me on TikTok at it's Tiffany Red, I believe. I think I am was taken. It's Tiffany Red. I am Tiffany Red on X, formerly Twitter as well. Same thing on YouTube. Look me up. Check out the 100percenters.com. Get into our resources. We have all kind of stuff. I'll be working hard on that website, so please click around and tap in with the resources that we have. And yeah.
Definitely. And Free Lunch Freddie had the last statement of the day. He said, let Diddy try that with Jasmine Crockett. He would have had a bad built, broken body. She'd put something on him. Ajax won't take off. Listen, The feds are about to put something on Diddy that he can't take out. And also, this is my last thing, you guys. Tiffany was so kind to come up. Let's welcome her into YouTube. You guys, go subscribe to her
Thank
channel
you for
on
that.
YouTube.
Yes, please
Yes,
do.
please. And I'll give a shout out in my other videos. Please go run her numbers up on YouTube. Support her, especially as the Diddy case looks like it's going to be moving to trial. And when things come up that she can speak on, Tiffany, you're going to want to hear what she has to say. And I'm sure she'll be posting things on YouTube, maybe even covering it live. But I think she's going to be an even bigger, more important voice in what's going on. So please go to her channel on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Y'all on YouTube, so you all know how it works, okay? In any case, Tiffany, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. And is
Thank
there
you. Thank
anything
you
else
for
you'd
having
like to
me.
say before we go?
I just want to say I'm very proud of you. You
Aw.
are for real. You are killing this. Like me and my girls be watching. Like, oh my god, what did teacher say? Stuff. It's so crazy because stuff be happening in real time, right? Or like say like say like I find out something's about to happen that day. Before it happens, before it hits the news and stuff. I'm always like, oh, I can't wait to see what Tisa got to say about this. I ain't
Yeah,
gotta go
well,
and it was really important to me. Like, I've been doing like, interviews on the news and all that kind of stuff. I haven't interviewed on YouTube. This is my first time, but it was really important to me to come to your platform and to speak to you because you have been really, you've been on it. You've been on it when you've been on it consistently in a way that no one else has been on it. And so,
thank you. Well,
one
listen,
woman to
girl,
another. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. And thank you for getting me together because for now on, justice for Young Miami, justice for Gina Home. We're going to stop talking about Gina's carpet. Justice
Yeah,
for Young Miami
we
and
gotta
Gina
leave the
Home
girls
because
alone.
we don't really mess with Gina. It's just the
We
carpet
gotta
that's
let them.
coming.
We gotta let
Well,
them. We just,
yeah, but with the Young Miami, definitely, because the victims come and all. And until we actually unravel exactly what she could be being quiet because she is scared, she's still in the music industry. And we don't know just
absolutely.
how deep this goes. So we're going to
She
have
got
to,
kids. She got
she
kids to
got
provide
kids.
for.
So
She
you know
got,
what? We will deliver grace to, I mean, she don't need us to deliver grace, but we will deliver grace to anybody that might have been potentially literally touched
harmed.
by
Yeah.
Diddy. Okay. So thank you
Yeah.
for coming over and like getting us together and be like, come on. We know the way this works. All right. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.